Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number 48. I am Garlips. That's my name, legally now.
Oh, I should.
You guys
Axton
have names
1061.
too?
We do. My new legal name is Axton, and the last name is 10_61.
My new name is Lost in the Warp Pipe, and it's all one word because I'm like Prince. I only need one name. So it's just multiple names put together.
Yeah.
I wonder if people have started trying to name their kids emojis. I wonder that's probably happened already, right?
What's Elon Musk's kid's name? Like
Oh.
a symbol or something?
Yeah, something like that. I remember vaguely that it was kind of like...
Yeah.
Was it like an anime name? What was it?
Something.
I'm going to have to look it up now.
We all are.
Welcome to the podcast, by the way.
Hello.
We occasionally talk about the things that we watch or play, and also video games and streaming and things like that. You guys can find the name. I'm gonna concentrate. I'm gonna do the
There
podcast
you go.
thing.
There's the name.
Professional thing.
Oh yeah, there we go. Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry with Knuckles.
Oh, that poor kid.
XAA12. Can you imagine? Like, unless Musk has made an android, in which case this name will become completely normal. You know.
Hello,
that's
Father.
just XAE12. You know, that's our android friend. But if you're like a real person, well, you know, it says like share a Coke with like Anthony. You're never gonna find XAE12 or whatever. You just never go into.
That kid's gonna get so much stick. I don't care how much money he's got. He's gonna get so much stick.
Yeah.
He's gonna get to like 12 and just start calling himself something else.
Yeah. I mean, that's your only chance.
It's like Walt's kid in Breaking Bad. Like all he was called was Walt Jr. and he's like, no, fuck that. Just call me Flynn. I ain't been called Walt Jr. Like that kid's like the second he realizes how dumb that name is. I know it's pronounced something, but Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know what's scarier, some of the films and games we've covered on this podcast, or the fact that Elon Musk is procreating. I don't know what's more frightening. He's the one that should have.
Well, the question is, what happened to XAEA 1 to 11?
What happened to Titan AE?
Again, he probably developed an android, and the first 11 were just the failures, and then the 12th one is the one he's willing to go, okay, I made this one. Tell me what you think.
Father.
Yeah. Father, it hurts. But father, I crave murder.
Do you think he's like Ed 209 where he can't go downstairs? Do you reckon that's...
Or Claptrap.
Your hand is going to fall over.
Oh, you guys aren't Borderlands fans. Never mind.
Claptrap
can't go up or downstairs. It's his greatest enemy. That's why I was like, or Claptrap.
Like
yeah, he's like a Dalek until they could fly.
Yeah, until they could fly. That's when you knew shit got real.
Oh my God, they fly now.
Hold on a second. So in the Doctor Who TV show, there was episodes where they were like, "Oh shit, stairs, we can't do anything."
Yeah, like in the 70s and 80s, it was like the Daleks can't use stairs. So then when it came back in 2005, like they're in a stairwell and they look at the Dalek and they're like, "Haha, the Dalek can't get us." And then like the Dalek levitates and starts flying up the staircase.
Oh my God!
It's like, oh my God, no! They learned to fly.
I don't get it. I don't get how that show has. I mean, in the beginning, sure, when you cared less about production values and you just wanted to use your imagination and have a good time, sure. And maybe nostalgia is the wave that carries it into the modern day. But like, I just don't see these Daleks as threatening, even without stairs to hide from. I don't. It's a trash can. It's a trash can with a ray gun.
Yeah, I know. They're one of the legacy monsters, so it's more like they just kind of show up and people are happy that they still show up, kind of thing. Like Bran reckon it's like, oh yeah, Daleks. They've actually you're talking to a sort of a Doctor Who fan.
That's fine. Please continue being a fan.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm not like I have no nostalgia for it. I didn't watch it as a kid. I barely watched the reboot when it was coming out. It was someone in university who got me onto Doctor Who and said, "Oh, you should go watch it." And I watched like 5 seasons back to back, like off DVDs that I borrowed. And then I started watching the TV show when it was airing, and it was quite good. Although like it suffered Hang on, I'm just going to update the topic to Doctor Who. So Doctor
Yeah,
Who,
I guess we're gonna get into that.
yeah, because it's such a long-running show, they have these showrunners who come in and kind of have these eras that belong to them. So the reboot started with this guy called Russell T Davies, who he wrote some kind of goofy stuff, but he also did really good character development and like overall, I say his era is very fondly remembered because it's also got the nostalgia now of being about 15 years old. So it's like people,
God.
yeah, I know,
It is, isn't it?
oof. But then this guy took over. What was his name?
Oh God.
David Moffat, Stephen Moffat,
Stephen Moffat, yeah.
and Stephen Moffat is responsible also for the Sherlock reboot with Benedict Cumberbatch and the one from The Office, Hobbit. What's his name?
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. I call him Hobbit. Which is
Bilbo Baggins.
he's got a name. It's Bilbo Baggins, but yeah, I just call him Hobbit. Yeah. So and that was a show that started off really promising. I enjoyed the first couple of seasons of Sherlock, and then it just went like off a fucking cliff.
Yeah,
And
I've heard that because I've only watched a few.
The same thing kind of happened with Stephen Moffat's run of Doctor Who. Started off with these kind of clever ideas, and it was kind of working. There was some issues, like a lot of his writing is very kind of like try hard and constantly trying to sound either incredibly impressive and like emotionally resonant. So like, oh my god, every word means like, is deep and emotional, or he's trying to crack wise and make a joke. And like, so like when characters are basically doing one of those two things, it kind of becomes a bit of a drag.
So
Anyway,
is he like the British what's his name? The guy who made Buffy.
yeah, just maybe
Whedon.
also
Joss
with a,
Whedon, yeah.
maybe
Everyone's funny.
a slight dash of sex pest as well. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe he's a sex
Like some
pervert.
people's complaints of Stephen Moffat's writing is that it's also kind of not misogynistic, but kind of like turns women into like either sexy or like boring, like they have no other function kind of thing. I'm not sure how true that is, but it's probably a valid criticism. Anyway, Stephen Moffat left, and we were all kind of like, oh, good, because Stephen Moffat was kind of starting to fall off the end, and we were a bit bored. And then the new one came along with Jodie Whittaker and was even more shit, like supremely shit. I cannot even explain. And the thing is, like, it got wrapped up in all this, oh, the Doctor isn't a woman, the Doctor can't be a woman, right? I don't think that's a valid criticism at all. I think in the right hands, anybody could be a good Doctor. Well, but like, you could write a female Doctor very easily that was brilliant. The problem is the material and the showrunner right now, Chris Chibnall, who there's this clip of him. He's like an old school Doctor Who fan, and he was on TV when he was like 15 or something in a suit, like looking like classic nerd. And he's like, I didn't care for this episode much. The characters fell flat, and all they did was just run away from danger. And it's so hilarious. It's turned full circle. He's 40 now, and he's making these fucking episodes, and they're not the exact thing he was complaining about. It's so shit. And we've had 2 seasons of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor now, and like, I don't think Jodie Whittaker's the problem, because I've seen her in other things and she's great. The problem is the material and the way it's written. The characters don't have logic, they don't develop. It's very much kind of like exposition heavy, just like, oh, saying what's happening.
Yeah, they don't feel like people.
Yeah. And so then they went the other way in the last series and basically like rewrote the entire canon of the entire show. Going back 50 years, they completely, like, they just went into the start and edited it and changed everything.
What?
Yeah.
Did they really? Because I stopped watching it a couple of years ago.
Okay, so to sum it up for anyone who doesn't know, Doctor Who is about this not shape-shifting alien, well, sort of. He's an alien. He's classically humanoid, classically kind of like whimsical British male. But he has this ability to regenerate, which I will say is an absolutely fucking genius idea from writers. They basically go, how can we recast this character every few years? Oh, he regenerates into someone else. Perfect. Right? And so you'll have people who love some Doctors more than others, but it's all supposed to be the same character. Anyway, and he's supposed to be, although he's an alien called a Gallifreyan and he's got 2 hearts, and he's very smart, or he or she, whatever, fuck it. He's not special. Like, in his society, he's kind of like a bum. He stole his spaceship and fucked off to, like, see the galaxy. But the difference is that Chris Chibnall has completely rewritten it so that, like, all Gallifreyans basically like stole the ability to regenerate from Doctor Who, the Doctor, and the Doctor was actually like a kid that fell through from a different universe or something, and is like the chosen.
Oh, fuck off!
Yeah. And like, I cannot tell you how many people this fucked off. Like, basically, all the goodwill, like, and there wasn't a lot of goodwill because, like, first you've got people dropping off because, oh my god, the Doctor is a woman, right? Whatever, those people can leave. Then you've got the people going, I like that the Doctor's a woman, it's fine, whatever, but like the writing is shit.
Yeah.
And then you've got the people who were like hanging on there, and then he comes along and does this, and it's just like, aside, like, I could talk to you for hours about the faults with the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, like,
the Doctor makes hugely inconsistent decisions. Like, basically, she says like guns are obscene and I abhor death, and then she like says these spiders are gonna die and I'll just lock them in a room, like, to die, and like doesn't feel bad about it. And it's like,
the Doctor wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's just
because the Doctor is like, is always comes across as a character who's like, no, everyone has the right to exist. It's kind of like if you play Commander Shepard in Mass Effect as like purely Paragon. Like, that's kind of the Doctor's like, no, everyone has a place in the universe. Everyone has a right to exist as long as they're not harming anyone, blah, 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 blah. Or even if they are harming anyone, he still doesn't want to do it. But yeah, is there any, like, what is the greatest way you can instantly make a character less interesting than going, they are the chosen one? Don't care. Like, it works in some media, like in the Matrix, it works in the Matrix because there's rules set up, and even though I don't like how it's explained in the later films, because later films are kind of shit, even then, like, there's rules set up, and the fact that Neo isn't the only special one, the fact there have been others before him, you're like, okay, that's fine. There are rules. You are not the only one. You are not XYZ. That's why one of the problems I have with what is it, the lineage syndrome? It's like, oh no, this person's only special because they are the descendant of special character. Like, that's boring. That's one of the worst things about the recent Star Wars films, and that's why I liked Rian Johnson's Last Jedi, because his point was, history doesn't fucking matter. The fact Rey, like, he set up that Rey was no one, I kind of liked, because, like, yeah, that's good. Like, her history shouldn't be the important thing. She should be the important thing. Like, this character.
If your message is you can overcome something, like, if you're royalty from the start and that's the only reason that makes you special, then guess what? The lesson you've learned is, I'm fucked because I wasn't born with it.
Yeah. Whereas in Last Jedi, the whole thing was like, leave the past behind, because he was basically kind of like, let's just be honest, The Force Awakens was playing on nothing but nostalgia, and Last Jedi was basically setting fire to nostalgia, and I kind of like that. But the point at the end is that anyone can be special, and that's why you see the shot of the kid at the end. It's like, anyone can be special. And then Rise of Skywalker comes out, and the only reason she's special is because she's Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter, and I instantly don't fucking
Well, you have to remember that in Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, remember we had Anakin Skywalker who had massive amounts of midichlorians?
And he was like Jesus because he was like, it's like, why it's like, why Darth Vader, why did you want to make Darth Vader so special? He's just a dickhead in a suit that chokes
looks
people
like
to
a
death.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's a prick. He's a space Nazi that chokes people. Why do you have to be like, oh, well, he's the special one, you see? Like, why do you, like, that's one of the reasons I really like going on tangent. You know why I really like the character of Solid Snake? He's the inferior clone.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
One, but he's the most heroic and selfless. Like, the entire point of Metal Gear Solid 4 is that he's doing this one last thing before he dies, because he knows it's the right thing to do, and he wants to eradicate all this, the sins of the father and all that, like, all this shit that his dad and his mates have done to the world. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go through this hallway, and it's gonna nuke the shit out of me. But you know what? I'm fucking dead. I'm gonna do it anyway. And he's the inferior clone, because we find out that Liquid was the superior one, and obviously Solidus is the perfect one.
Didn't we find that out? And then didn't we also find out in MGS4 that they weren't actually, like, they were born of Eva or whatever her name is?
Yeah, but because it was cloning, and it wasn't. They tried to. It's weird, but the fact that he's the inferior clone is far more interesting than if it was like, no, yes, he is the perfect clone. of Big Boss, because he doesn't even look like Big Boss when he gets older. Solidus does, he doesn't. And that's way more interesting than, well, you see, you are the chosen.
You're reminding me of that Big Chungus video where he's like, I got the old man's inferior memes.
It's like, you know, because I was actually, this could actually lead into Resident Evil 8 a bit. The second Mia says, "Oh, Ethan's special," I got really worried. It's like, oh no, and that's one. And I was happy. I was like, oh, no, that's okay. He's just a mold that's spoilers. He's just molded that's like sentient or whatever, and that's why I'm a little bit worried still about Rose. But yeah, like let's get back to like Doctor Who. Like,
let's get away from that.
Such a
too recent,
especially when it's like an existing character that's been in pop culture since like the 60s or the 50s, I think. To then just go, you know what? No, she is the chosen one, and everything comes from this one character because suddenly the universe feels a lot smaller.
I'm trying to think of a good analogy, and all I can think of is like, you know, Bruce McLean is like wrong place, wrong time, just an ordinary cop guy. It'd be like finding out he trained as like a Navy SEAL or something, and actually like, I don't know,
he trained Hans Gruber.
He killed 100 terrorists before the movie.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, like if he was like Solid Snake before Die Hard, you'd be like, that's because it was originally going to be a sequel to Commando. So yeah, you'd be like, this guy was already like, he's like John Rambo. She's like, well, he's gonna have no problem against these like fucking terrorists. The fact that McClane is just a cop from New York who's off duty, and like that's why Die Hard's so good, because
it's very charming for that.
And he gets hurt as well. Like the whole movie, by the end of the movie, he can barely fucking walk.
Yeah, like he's just like, like his feet are fucking cut up with glass. That is the hardest thing to watch. Because like if you've ever been cut by glass before in a serious way, it's like that shit. It cuts quick and it cuts deep,
and you bleed quick as
well. And bleeds, and I'm like, this guy's gonna run out of all of his blood.
He's just like tape his foot up or something. That's way more relatable.
Sorry, I just want to say, last November I dropped a Pyrex dish in the kitchen, and I like had no shoes on at the time, and I just like carefully kind of tiptoed like through it, like very. I think I was missing everything. And like I look down and there's a ton of blood, and Kina says, "Oh my god, you've cut your foot." And I was like, "Where?" I was like, "Oh yeah," and then nearly fucking fell over because like blood was gushing out of me. And it's like, you could call, like, I have a doctor in the family, so we're like, do we need to go to hospital like, right now? He's like, hold this against it. If it doesn't stop in 10 minutes, go.
And yes.
And I was like, I didn't even feel that cut.
Yeah, because it cuts really quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Glass is no just whenever you see people throwing through like plate glass in films and they're just fine, you're like really like
or punching a window.
I love that. It's like, I'm fine. Like, no, that's a bad idea. Bill Goldberg did that in WCW once, because I think he was supposed to hit it with a pipe or something, and he didn't. He just like slammed it with his forearm, cut the shit out of his arm, and that was him done for the year. It's like, well,
oh my god!
Like, because I think they got sold like 6 months later. But it's like, your arm's cut to shit. You're not doing anything with that.
Yeah,
glass is no joke. It's really scary.
Glass is no joke. But like movies will make it seem like it's so easy. Oh, just leap into the window with your shoulder tucked in, and you'll be perfectly fine.
No, don't go anywhere near your neck. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you throw something through it first.
Yeah, I do like when they pick up a chair or something and they huck it, and then that makes a lot of sense to me, for sure.
Magic and movies, but I just need to go and write my concept script for Die Hard 6, where John McClane, it turns out he is actually the descendant of Queen Victoria. There you go. And she was actually she went through a similar thing in the Tower of London, but it was just like
Die Hard 6 Royal Blood or something. And it's like, huh? Why'd they call it Royal Blood? You go see the movie, it's like, really? That's why they called it that?
I kind of now want to watch an action film about a young Queen Victoria killing terrorists in the Tower of London. I'd watch that. I'd watch it out of curiosity and then hate myself for it.
Probably.
To wrap it round, I mean, that would like, even that doesn't seem as like, not what's the word, like ludicrous as the change they made with the Doctor. It's just like,
it's like that's not that isn't the character, and it not only isn't it the character, but it shows that you, despite apparently this guy being a super fan, you don't get it. Like apparently you don't get
it's a
who the
fundamental
character is.
misunderstanding of the character and
Yeah.
the stories that have been told. I mean, apparently there was if you because I've never actually really watched classic Doctor Who, but I've done some I've watched documentaries and things, and there was this thing called the Cartmel Plan, basically sort of the end of the 80s, early 90s, where they basically planned this whole storyline about the fact that Time Lords, which is another name for Gallifreyans, they don't reproduce properly like we do. They have these things called looms that kind of create people out of it's literally a loom, like a space loom, and they were kind of intimating that maybe the character of the Doctor is a really important Gallifreyan who helped create these looms kind of thing, and they hinted at it and they had kind of a roadmap for it, and then it just never panned out because it got cancelled. Which is probably for the best actually. What's happened recently. I will keep giving Doctor Who a chance, but literally at the end of the last New Year's Day special, which was also shit. They had this bit at the end where you're supposed to be excited because apparently John Bishop is now going to be in it. He's an English comedian, very not unfunny, just very basic bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
comedian.
I like John Bishop, but
it's all right.
Get out of fuck off from Doctor Who. Just fuck off. Let's put a comedian in it. What? Because Catherine Tate was in it.
I guess, and because they had success with Bradley Walsh, who is the best thing about the last 2 seasons, and now he's gone. They've written him out. So
what?
Yeah. Bradley Walsh is the best thing about this season of TV. So bye Bradley Walsh. I guess maybe you just need to do The Chase or something. Bradley Walsh is a very famous English kind of comedian presenter over here, Chris.
He's great.
Okay. He's great.
He's really funny.
I was just looking up John Bishop. I don't know that guy either.
No. John Bishop is not as good.
He's good.
Bradley Walsh.
But Bradley Walsh. The thing with Bradley Walsh is that it just looks like he has so much fun doing everything he does.
Yeah.
The Chase is not I don't really like it as a game show, but it's watchable because he's having fun and he's basically constantly. It's not making fun of the show, but he doesn't take it super serious, and it's kind of like that.
I fucking love The Chase.
I only watch it for him.
I will watch reruns and reruns.
Well, there's plenty of clips online of him just laughing at one of the questions, but the most famous one is is it a German swimmer called it's a German swimmer called Fanny Schmeller.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously he keeps trying to say it and he just can't.
He just keeps corpsing because
he is crying with laughter.
He can't say it properly without just laughing because Fanny Schmeller, and I guess Fanny is not a bottom in
no, it's not. It's the front bottom.
Right.
And and every time he keeps trying, and he just starts making this high pitched noise at one point as he's trying to contain himself because he's trying so hard to be professional, and he just can't. And it gets to the point where there's the expert who's the chaser is supposed to be really stoic and very straight faced. They're playing a character, but they're supposed to be very stern.
Supposed to be big brain people, and they've got a flavor. There's the guy who's really big, so they make jokes about his weight. There's the guy who's evil looking and also black, so apparently he's the Dark Destroyer, which is really not a very PC name. There's one called the Governess because she dresses like the teacher from Matilda, that kind of thing.
And it's great. So, and I think it's her, isn't it? She's sat there and she's trying to look really serious, really stoic, and then you can just see this little quiver.
Yeah, you can see even she's starting to corpse. It's I love laughter is so incredibly contagious. Sometimes people can just be laughing, you have no idea why, and you start laughing. It's a social thing, built into us as humans. So but when Bradley Walsh is laughing, Bradley Walsh is just this lovely guy who you would love to be your father-in-law, basically. It's just super nice.
And I think it makes it even funnier. It's not even just because he is crying with laughter, but it's the fact that he's trying so hard to be professional about it, and he just can't. He cannot do it. He keeps trying, and he contains himself, and then he goes to say it again. I think there's one moment He doesn't even get close to saying the name, and he just starts again. Everyone's it's brilliant. I love British TV when it goes off the rails like that. It's the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best. Like in the right moment, corpsing can be great. Like Vic and Bob did that a lot, where they'd only do like one take. It's like if they fucked it up, that was it. That was the take. And there's a really famous Shooting Star sketch where Matt Lucas is supposed to be like buying a camper van from Bob Mortimer, and every time he talks, he just goes, does this, and Bob Mortimer just starts laughing, and he can't stop, and they just end the sketch. They just end it because it's like, what? Is this so funny?
I've introduced Chris before to the magic of Thank You Baked Potato, and also Peanuts.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, Peanuts, because he just can't stop laughing halfway through. He tries to sing the line and he just can't. I'm gonna have to link all those below for the chat. By the way.
Yeah.
It's a song about George, about peanuts.
Welcome to the impenetrable, unsayable British TV canon podcast.
Fantastic.
Shooting
Stars is great. Oh, it's so good. One of the best episodes is when they had one of the lead actors from Dallas on there, and he had no idea what was going on, and he's just sat there the whole time looking visibly confused. Because obviously all the British celebrities know who Vic and Bob are. And he's just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, there's to go on. Like, I'm gonna stop now with the whole British TV thing. But the last thing I will say is there was also like a joyfully kind of like anarchic music TV show quiz called Never Mind the Buzzcocks, which was very similar in this country. I personally liked both eras of hosts, and they were very sardonic, very sarcastic, and basically you'd get these American musicians who just got booked for this show because they were on the PR circuit for, like, you know, selling their records or whatever, and like famous people like Jermaine Jackson, and so like Simon Amstell's making jokes the whole time about his brother and stuff, like Michael Jackson obviously, and Jermaine is just like, you can tell that Jermaine is like trying to be nice, but underneath he's like, how are you saying these things to me? I come from America where people don't say this shit to me.
Yeah. But again, it's like the British, most of the British artists went on that show expecting that. Like, oh, I know, I'm going to get torn apart. It's like going on, like, Have I Got News for You as well. You know you're going to get torn to shreds if you're any kind of politician.
Yeah, I guess the closest thing would be something like one of those roasts you guys do, like on SNL or something.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can even think of that would compare. Like, and I'm not saying they're on SNL. They just have like this club where they roast people that are famous and it gets televised. I don't even know what it's called, and I never watch them because it's basically just like a round robin. Okay, you tell jokes about this guy, and then you tell jokes about that guy, and it's all understood that they're going to dig deep and they're going to cut and they're going to be terrible jokes about your career, about your life, your weight, or whatever. And I don't personally get into that kind of humor because it's like, if it's targeting something that I can't help, fuck you. You know, that's where I come from.
Yeah, sometimes Never Mind the Buzzcocks could be mean, and it was kind of controversial a couple of times. Some jokes now just wouldn't fly like 10, 15 years later. But the one thing I will say about those roasts that happen in America is, like, it does seem a kind of like weirdly, like, because I saw not all of the Justin Bieber one, but I saw that Justin Bieber had one where basically he showed up and watched all these people make jokes about him, right? And I was
Bieber had one?
Yeah. I'm sure I didn't dream that. But like the funny, like, to me, I was sat there thinking, this is just a way of him like turning up and sitting in a room for an hour, like being like, basically it's a way of showing that you're okay with people making jokes about you. Like, it's almost like magnanimous, kind of like sat there. I'm trying to explain what I mean, and I can't quite. But it shows it, like, it's almost like a PR move to show that you're not full of yourself.
Yeah,
even though you might well be a full of yourself person, it's just because you sat in a room for an hour and heard some jokes about you, you're kind of like, oh, you're all right, kind of thing.
Like, you know, 90% of those celebrities go backstage like, I can't fucking believe he said that.
Yeah,
but they are.
But I'm a bit of a sex pest, and this will make people forget about it, or, like, you know, it'll blow over the latest like PR disaster.
I mean, I guess.
On the joke.
I'm cynical. I look at everything from the kind of angle of like who's on the make, basically.
Well, I think like in the past, like I'd say like 30 years ago or so, like, because that would be like 1991 or whatever. People would expect to just sit in a chair and be roasted, and it would be funny for everyone else. So the person who is being roasted just sort of takes it, and it's fine. And then we just move on. It's like you're saying, it's part of their career that that they're known well enough that all these jokes can be made about them, and two, that somebody would want to watch that on television. So it's a good PR move in that regard. But it just feels like it's one of those like good old boy kind of things that just doesn't fly nowadays. Yeah. To me, my generation, I just would not like that. I would sit in this chair and I'd be like deadpan, thinking about murder the entire time, the entire fucking time.
How am I going to kill you? How silly.
While everyone is like laughing and pointing and laughing at all of my insecurities and every flop I've ever made in my career, and like. Do we remember when Axton like speed ran Silent Hill 4 and forgot to turn the fucking lights on? What a goddamn idiot! Am I right?
I was about to say that.
No, it's one of those things. They'll be telling those jokes and it's like this thing will pop up in the corner. It's like Axton will remember this. So. I remember when the bombs drop.
Axton doesn't like Telltale games either. Son of a bitch! You like punch the little bubble. Yeah.
Destroy my reality.
I don't know. I think culturally we're shifting away from those kinds of jokes, at least in America, because I don't see that stuff anymore.
It's the same.
But then also, I don't watch TV. I don't watch any TV. Not at all. Not a single channel. Not a single frame passes these eyes on television, except for whatever my parents are watching in the living room when I walk by. But beyond that, it's all Twitch, baby. Twitch.
Twitch, YouTube, or streaming services.
Yeah.
I watch a few programs basically, and usually it's always video on demand now, so it's not.
Yeah,
live.
I mean,
it's like even like regular like TV. Oh shit! I missed that show on BBC. Oh, I guess I'll just watch it tomorrow on iPlayer.
I'll just watch it when I want to.
Yeah, that they like. I know none of you really give a shit about football or soccer as it's called in the States, but I watch Match of the Day on BBC, and for a number of years. Because it's Match of the Day was always been on like 10:30 p.m. So I'm staying up that late, especially when most of the time my team would play on a Sunday. So I don't want to stay up until like 10:30 on a Sunday to watch that. So they now the next morning it's up on iPlayer, whereas for years you'd have to wait like a few days. If like they're all catching on to the fact that it doesn't really matter that much anymore if you watch it live.
For anyone who's not listening to the podcast but watching it, Axe, you just looked like you were doing some kind of like Harry Potter spell. Like you've got a wand and it's kind of like it's right by the light. It looked like you were doing Lumos or something.
It's one of the coolest presents I'd ever received for Christmas. Like it was something I never asked for, and I don't, it's one of those practical things. It's a back scratcher, right? So it extends. Okay, but here's the cool bit: the fucking skull. It's a fucking skull.
So you can then cosplay as a pimp as well, or become a pimp.
Yeah, with like a really tiny cane. Yeah. it's this long, everybody. But no, I was using it to turn off my ceiling fan. So that's because it's also got like a skeletal hand.
Oh wow!
So it was able to grab the little thing and pull it down without me standing up. Also, that's why I don't have a webcam on my streams, because I can do shit like that and no one will see it.
It's almost like maybe you forgot that your camera was on.
Just a little bit. Also, I don't want to buy a fucking webcam. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Even if it would improve my Twitch chances, I don't want to do it. I've bought 3 webcams in my life, and I've never used any of them. But it was always like, well, this is the better webcam, and I'm totally going to do webcam stuff on my Twitch, so here we go. And then it's like, well, not Twitch, but like YouTube or whatever nonsense I was coming up with at the time. And I just never used them. Or they were always unsatisfactory if I did use them. Like, I would just look grainy. And I still do, but this is my laptop webcam, so it's... Who gives a shit about it? Yeah, it does the job. It puts me on Twitch. So here we are. Don't want to spend any more money on webcams.
Don't worry. This isn't a roast.
You're not going to make me buy a webcam, Carlos.
Can you believe Axton doesn't buy a webcam? Oh my god.
You know what?
Just got to sit there and go.
I'm going to bring this up. Okay. It's unfortunate because this hits some of the people that I follow that I actually enjoy watching and will still enjoy watching. But I don't understand why people put webcam overlays like this on the channel, where there's still game going on right here, or I'm sorry, back here, but we can't see it because the webcam's right there.
You mean
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Lost. But this would be great because you can offer your opinion, and I just desperately want to know. Because to me, it's like I was watching Enigma, who's a partner who does it for a career. Obviously, it's not a detriment to his streams in any way, shape, or form. So there's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, it's like, what if your health was like right there, and I can't
I
see
see
it?
what you mean. Okay, yeah.
You know,
Suspense.
because what's that?
Suspense. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm making up bollocks.
it's fine because you talking about me and Lost. Our cams are like off to the side, so we don't actually go over the screen that much.
Most of
the time.
So
and I will say, like, there are people who like. I don't actually play the game, but I gathered that Stardew Valley has got like this kind of like sweet spot where most people put their camera because that's like when no important game stuff is, so to speak. So I think when it comes to some games, you absolutely could, but like I'm very much of the fact that I would not want to obscure the gameplay screen at all.
Right. But there are so many people who do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think, is there something that I'm missing?
I have no choice.
Axe,
when it's PC games, I have no choice.
There are 1,000 people right now. Oh, he's gone.
Ah, see? Twitch kicked him off.
The purge has begun.
Entirely.
Just like, bitch, what you saying?
Yeah.
How dare you?
And I mean, Twitch are pretty fucking good because this is Discord, so they've got a big reach. What I was going to say is 1,000 people right now are watching a person with like a webcam that is like not properly lit, with a microphone that's an onboard microphone that doesn't. It's got like a sound in the background going. Like people somehow inexplicably watch. Bad streamers.
Or like there's one person I've seen whose entire webcam takes up this much of the screen.
Oh, that's
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like this is where the game window ends and then this is where the cam starts. I mean, the whole thing, the whole thing is like right there, and I'm just like, I mean, you miss every like.
Okay, that's a bit odd because the reason I have it set up that way sometimes it's only when I'm doing PC games because I need to upgrade my machine. Because some PC games run fine, other games depends on how optimized they are as well.
Okay.
Just doesn't like it, so I can't have that fancy overlay.
Oh, okay.
That's why that's usually for PC games. It console games, even if I'm like emulating as well, that's fine. But a lot of like modern PC games, like I don't know what it is. Like OBS just goes and just collapses in on itself, and sometimes it doesn't even like the webcam on at all.
Yeah, so in that case, like if it was a choice of whether streaming or not streaming, then you're going to choose streaming and you'll just put the webcam where it goes, and that's fine.
Yeah, and if it doesn't like it with the webcam, we'll just turn the webcam off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I never really thought about it before, but I've just realized that I've made a lot of my decisions when it comes to what I speedrun based on the fact that they're in 4:3 screen ratio. Because that gives you enough real estate to have a camera and some splits on the side. Because it's a box. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought of that.
So I'm probably going to continue doing that.
Continue. It's fine.
Like PS2 and earlier, basically.
I mean, like I understand why somebody would have a webcam, obviously, because you get to see reactions. And I will make a shout out real quick. Lost in the Warp Pipe. Was it Devotion. Let's Play is a lot of fun watching you just fucking lose your shit. So there's value added webcam use right there for sure. It wouldn't be the same for me because I would basically be like, but you wouldn't see it. So I would be protected, and I would just continue to be like, that's interesting. Was that where the puzzle solution is?
There's so many
voice only.
Yeah, that was fun because there was so many instances where I was just literally going.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely uses for it, but I mean,
will say is if your camera takes up this much of the screen, like just get the guts to decide that the gameplay is clearly not important. Do just chatting and just put yourself over the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, that's like because it's one thing to
get a hot tub.
Yeah,
because it's one thing to have it like me and Tom have it where with our camera. I mean, your camera's top left and mine's bottom left, but then we have like the chat and stuff alongside it. But that's one thing because that's taken up because that's camera is like the smallest thing really. Then you got the chat box,
Yes.
Which is more important, really, isn't it? In some instances, like for me anyway, and
Yeah.
like that's one thing. But then it's just like now, whole camera's just gonna. It's like you're using your phone. They must be using their phone or something.
Yeah, it's actually portrait style taking up like 20% of the screen. And I'm not going to point any fingers, and it's no one that we know anyway, so it's fine. But at the same time, I don't understand how this person and people who have that
Just trying to
have a
figure.
high, viewer count. Like that to me would be like, oh, that's a
That would
strike
annoy the
against.
shit out
Sorry,
of me.
Yeah,
yeah,
like I'm just
like
trying to
that's a
figure
strike
it
against them
out.
immediately.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, if it was like just a just chatting thing, or like for
Yeah,
that'd be okay. But yes, it's weird.
If your
yeah,
face
sure. Like
is the
if you're running a
focus, then
video,
just go the whole hog and just not have the
Yeah.
gameplay.
At least, like, yeah, that's like because I know the women doing the hot tub thing have been getting a lot of flack. It's like, why do you care?
yeah,
And
I mean,
like at least with them, they're not like, oh no, I'm totally playing a game. It's like they're not
yeah.
fucking fooling it. They're not trying to fool anyone. It's like
Or
you
it's
you
like
know what you're here for.
that fun Resident Evil 8 meme where it shows Alcina Dimitrescu with the headset on, and she's totally playing Stardew Valley, but Stardew Valley is like right here on the map, and then Dimitrescu is everywhere else.
Yeah, that's my favorite Lady
I
Dimitrescu.
mean, and like,
Because
and
of
you
the
know
face.
what? Do that. Just don't obstruct the game window. Just don't do that, unless, of course, it's it doesn't get in the way of anything. It's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a per game context basis, but for the most part, like if there's any part of the HUD and it's obstructed by the webcam, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
unless
I
you're
have to
like
say-
Enigma, where I'll give you a pass.
Yeah, Enigma gets pass.
I'd say
Just gets a
that
pass.
out of all the Lady Dimitrescu memes that have come out, I think the gamer one's my favorite because of the
good.
face she's pulling. It's
Yeah.
just because it's when she's like acting all like not childish, but she's kind of like pouty because of Mother Mary.
Yeah. Like
It's the best thing that's
my
come out
wife
of
sent
it.
me one yesterday or today where it's somebody donated 500 bits and asked her to fart in the microphone. so she's like, what the fuck?
It's the best meme to come out of it. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that I'm just fucking relieved there's some funny ones coming out
Yeah.
because I'm sick and tired of all the
Big
other
mommy
ones.
milkers.
It's like you nearly like I was. That was one of the reasons I was so glad she was one of the secondary antagonists. It's like good, fuck those people.
Yeah.
It's good because you fucking ruined it for me.
And I named the last episode of the podcast that ironically, not to
Of
write
course.
SEO or
Of
anything
course.
like that.
It's annoying because like she was a good character as well, and then was like,
Yeah.
oh, but she's so big and hot. I'm like, yeah, but she can be scary as well. Can we, Why
I've
all these
been-
people that moan about over sexualizing a female character
Yeah, right. I do see. I
Awesome.
mean, it's not wrong and it's not mean. It's just. I'm sorry. I'm about to make a segue. Still with the Resident Evil 8 thing, because I've been seeing some memes where, this one lady is doing art and it's great. It looks really good, and it's the three daughters, but there's also maids still in Castle Dimitrescu, and the three daughters just like the maid, not like sexually, but just friendly. Because it's one of the few people they get to see in the castle because they can't leave because of the cold, I suppose. So like, there's a picture of the maid taking care of a spider because spiders eat flies, and the daughters being what they are,
That's
so they're
cute.
scared of the spider. Yeah, it's supposed to be cute.
They're murderers.
Yeah, they are exactly. That's my point. It's like, how did we forget that they're supposed to be monsters this whole time? Resident Evil 8 is full of monsters. But people are like, "Aw, the daughters are pretty, so I'm gonna put flowers on their head and make them really nice to the maids and make them gamers and do all that stuff." But it's not wrong. It's kind. It's nice, and hell, I'd rather see memes like that any day over, would you please fart in the microphone kind of shit, But it's just weird to me where it's like they take something that already exists, remove its meaning entirely, and then make it their own and put it on the internet, and then everyone else is like, "I like this. This is better."
Yeah, I've seen people going like, wasn't it sad when she was so like visibly upset about like her daughters dying? No.
Yeah. Do you remember what they did to Ethan?
Yeah. Do you remember what they did for like the other people?
Everyone else?
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, they experimented on turned all the female staff into monsters. Didn't you feel bad for Albert Wesker? Oh no, because he's not hot.
Well,
he's not
I'm pretty sure
tit.
there's some Wesker-esque Chris
Wait, what? He was hot when
34
they.
shit out there.
But,
I'm
you know,
sure
it's
it
like
exists.
they weren't. It's all that. Well, it was so sad. Like it wasn't sad. They are horrible people. They are despicable people. Like they're
Yeah,
bad. Like I'd
yeah.
be like crying over like it's like someone gunning down Hannibal Lecter. Be like,
Oh, but I
he was a
love
doctor.
Hannibal.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
He
sad?
only eats the
Yeah.
bad people,
Yeah, it was.
so it's
Wasn't it?
okay.
Oh yeah. It's like wasn't it sad when no, wasn't it sad when Jeffrey Dahmer no.
Well, like my
Oh,
big
but-
thing is Virgil from Devil May Cry. I mean, he summons Tim and Negru in Devil May Cry 3, which destroys a city just in its presence alone, with the full intent on opening the doorway to hell so that demons can come flooding out, and then
that's
he
like
can
the first
finally go
time.
to hell where he wants to be. And all those demons are going to kill everyone on the planet. And everyone's like, Virgil!
He just wants his mummy back. Like, oh, fuck off.
He just wants his mommy back. Exactly.
It's not the first
Or-
time he destroys a city.
Yeah, like I mean, DMC 1 was after DMC 3, so you know he goes to hell and comes back and all that stuff. Whatever.
And lost
DMC 2 doesn't exist. DMC 4 he also doesn't exist, but he's a playable
does, but he
character in
doesn't.
the special edition.
Yeah.
But in DMC 5, he does the same shit with the Clyfoth tree. Instead of a Temen-Negru, it's this big giant root thing that feeds off the blood of human beings. So the roots
Oh.
literally just
He's,
turn you into husks.
he's just
And then
misunderstood.
all that blood gets concentrated into a single fruit that Virgil will then eat to gain all this power, which he does. And it's like, but he just wants his... And how many men, women, and children, and I'm sure it doesn't discriminate, dogs, cats, goldfish, whatever, did the Clyfoth tree eat just so that he can see his mommy? Like, fuck him.
But you're forgetting something as well. He's hot.
Boy.
It's
I
fine.
mean, I was gonna let you make your argument, and then I was gonna reply with "sexy boy."
Yeah, it's all
How many
matters.
times though, like, like even in like real life situations, like these hot celebrities and like pretty nasty things like, oh, but he's so dreamy, or but she's so hot, bro.
Have
Like,
you not seen those
Yeah.
websites full of people basically thirsting over like mugshots of prisoners that like are hot?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I can
That
change
exists.
him.
And see,
I
the
can
thing,
change.
the thing is, like, even like something like Breaking Bad, where you follow a character, like you're there for the transition, so I can kind of understand if you're still on board with Walter White, maybe at the end of season 4, start of season 5. Like, you're still a bit of a sociopath if you like think he did nothing wrong, but
Jesus.
but what I'm saying is, like, you can understand why there would be some people still hanging on to that. But if
Right,
it was
but I-
never there to begin with, do you know what I mean? If it was like he steps out of the like first shot of the thing, he just like bang shoots a puppy. It's like,
You're like, fuck this guy, right? But yeah,
well,
it's
he's so
because you're going all the way.
dreamy.
But
It's
like,
so dreamy.
it's
I
like
mean, Bryan
'cause that's the
Cranston's
thing.
pretty dreamy.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like Breaking Bad. Like, yeah, by the end, like season 5, it's such an interesting show to watch as a character. So just like he just turns into a supervillain basically, and at the end, the person you're really rooting for is Jesse, because you just want Jesse. It's like I just want Jesse to get away. That's how I was feeling.
I'm
Like,
trying
I
to
just want
stave
him to be
off
okay.
a rewatch. I've got a rewatch coming. I know I want to watch it again, but I'm
It's
trying to
still
stave
good.
it off so that I can kind of watch all of Breaking Bad and then all of Better Call Saul in time to watch Better Call Saul last season come out.
Is the next season the last one?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I love Better Call Saul. Somehow a spin-off is just as good as the original, with a
Somehow.
primary antagonist that's one of the scarier ones in the. Lalo's fucking terrifying.
He's great. Though.
Actually.
He's so dreamy. That's a great example because he's
Yeah.
completely fucking evil, but he wins you over in an instant, and you're kind of like sat there like, oh, this guy's great. I like him.
He's got that charisma. You're like, oh yeah, you know he's good. And then
Yeah.
he flicks that switch.
Yeah.
I think one of the better moments is when he goes to see Saul and Kim's there. And he's like, oh yeah. And I just want you to tell me the story about the car again. It's like, yeah. Tell me again. And he's smiling, but all he does is just sit there and just asks him to tell it again. And there's something so just really scary about it. It's like, yeah, but tell me again. Tell me again.
He's the kind of guy, like, he invites you into his house, and he's like, "Oh, we're having a barbecue. Come out back." And like, you follow him. He's like, you're talking to him, and you're having a real nice time.
Mm.
And then he turns and he fucking shoots someone dead. And then he turns back to you, and he's like, "Oh, do you want a beer?" Like,
It's that kind of. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, buddy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Be nice to him, that'll be me. Yeah, that's a good kind of event. But yeah, I think they play on the dreamy aspect of it, don't they? In Better Call Saul, like, I think feel like they're self-aware of that, because Vince Gilligan's just proven that he's a very, very clever man. He understands. He just absolutely gets it.
Now you've got me thinking about whether there are cute little anime cartoon strips drawn of Saul from Better Call Saul. I really hope there are. I want to watch Nobody. You guys want to watch Nobody?
I want to watch Nobody.
I want to watch Nobody so bad.
I'd be up for seeing that.
It's the new film set in the John Wick franchise, but it stars
that guy.
The guy from Better Call Saul. Bob Odenkirk.
Okay, so wait, is that actually part of the John Wick universe?
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're fleshing out the kind of the rules of the place, like with tangential characters, because there are only so many times you can like write a thing and say, "And John Wick survived till the end," because like it's just stupid.
Honestly, like after the first movie, it's surprising that he's still kicking. To be honest, was it the first movie where it's like it ends with the van slowly just going and then hitting the wall or whatever, and he gets out? Or was that the second movie? It doesn't matter. Anyway, he takes a lot of punishment. Yeah, they're all the same basically.
Yeah, but I do like them. They're great.
Right,
they all blur together like white noise.
Oh my god! You're still gonna talk about Demon Souls.
I know we didn't, but we've been an hour in, and time.
The one thing I was gonna say, like you mentioned spiders a minute ago, like she helps get a spider out of the car. I was gonna go like,
oh god,
and I met a fucking spider I fucking hate, and it's called the armored spider, and fuck the armored spider.
Yeah,
for Demon Souls,
that's one boss I am always willing to cheese, and I've done so many times.
Well, no, see, that's the thing about Demon Souls is that you should cheese all the bosses. All of them. Have no shame whatsoever, because they obviously don't give a fuck about you. They did not give you a boss fight that was designed to be fun. They gave you a boss fight like this aggressive puzzle you have to solve in a short period of time. And if you can't cheese the armored spider, you're going to have a hell of a time with all the rest of the bosses, because they're all going to be worse. All of them. Progressively.
It's definitely better fights than the armored spider, that's for sure. Like more.
Yeah, there are better fights, but they're all worse as far as like aggression level, speed level, attack range, arena. God, the man-eaters. That was my big wall when I first played that game. Yeah, I see your face. I know you know.
Yeah. 6 months from now, I'm just nodding with you.
I can't say anything at risk of spoiling it for Tom, but during the first time,
I won't remember, honestly.
So when I was fighting the man-eaters for the first time, going in like, it's not too bad, doing good damage, and all of a sudden the second health bar appears. I remember seeing it, looking at the camera, just looking at the chat, going, what? Why are there two health bars? And immediately getting like twatted in the back. Stand up, there's another one flying, so we're like, oh, what is happening?
Yep.
Cool. It is a cool moment though. It is a great moment because it scares the shit out of you.
It's a cool moment to like see someone else go through. It's not a cool moment to go through yourself, because you think, just like Lost was saying, you think, I got this one. You know, this is one of those bosses that's not going to be a big problem. My build is showing its strengths, and I'm kicking its ass. And then it's like, no, you didn't. Let me call my brother.
Like, bitch, please.
Oh my god. And I was like, no way. This was a boss. There can't be a second boss.
You can't change the rules.
Yeah, you can't change the rules.
Oh my god,
so anyway, cheese the shit out of all of them. All of them. And there's a big glitch, and I'm not going to tell you, but there's a big cheese for the man-eaters. But I ain't going to tell you what it is.
Okay. No, I'll probably Google it when I get to whatever the boss that is. Very brief summary of me. A brief summary of my experiences so far. I've done 3 streams of Demon Souls. I started off not knowing anything about the game, and
At all.
at all. I mean, obviously, you pick up little bits and pieces by like just pop culture, but overall, nothing. Um, really enjoyed the first stream. Really enjoyed the second stream. I killed a boss pretty much per stream. So the first one I finished after I killed Phalanx. The second stream I finished killing Tower Knight, and I was Tower Knight was something like the third or fourth try because I got there and killed all the archers and then died. And then I got there and died and got there and died. I was basically intimidated by its size, like you're supposed to be. But then when I worked out you can hit the ankles, it was fine. The problem was my third stream, because I was so excited to play Demon Souls. And Demon Souls really cultivates this idea of kind of like go anywhere, do anything, explore, try shit out. Through process of elimination and experience, you will become a master. So, being the master of my own destiny and really liking the Boletarian Castle level, I was like, I killed the Tower Knight, let's move on to the next area. And it goes, you cannot come through here. And I was like, fuck you. The only other place, well, I tried out pretty much all of the other places apart from the Magic Skeleton Land, but I tried that in my third stream. I really was enjoying that level, and it just kind of like it was an arbitrary. I felt like it was an arbitrary gate, and that kind of like put the damper on it for me a little bit, because I was like, if you didn't want me going that way, just put a strong guy in the way who one shots me, and I would accept it much more than just a door that says you cannot pass. Does that make sense? Because the whole game is about like, they have these clever areas where like you kind of wander down there and you see something and it fights you and you die, or you just get away and you're like, okay, I'm not going that way. And like all it had to do was just do that, and I would have kind of gone, oh, okay, maybe I need to go to another area and come back. But it was just this so up, like it was just annoying.
It's the only one that really does that, I think. Some of them are like, well, you need a key, and then you find a key in another area. It's. I think there's a lore explanation for it because you need the soul of an archdemon.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I maybe I don't, because I'm trying to think, because the way beyond there is really tough anyway. But it's great because it's Boletary Castle. Boletary Castle was fucking awesome. But I'm the only thing I can think of, because he is the only one that really does that. Because in like Bloodborne, as long as you have an item to go there, you can go there. In Dark Souls 1, as soon as you got the doorway or the way is unlocked to go somewhere, you pretty much go there.
Yeah.
Although so you do stuff in other areas that will affect others as well, but so on and so forth. But the only way I can think of is maybe it's a way to force the player to go to a different world.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of. Like it's really weird. It's like I said, it's the only one I can think of where they do that. And I do agree, like because I was disappointed. It's like, I want to see more of Boletaria. I love how this place looks.
Yeah.
It
feels
did make me
safer than the other ones too.
Yeah, I think it's the only one that's like clear, nice clear skies. Actually, thinking about it,
just I love the scale of it as well. A lot of the other places are very kind of like interior, and although you do get a sense of scale in those places, it's nothing like the castle, because the castle you can see from like one end of the level to the other end, and it's like it's impressive and big.
There is, I will say, Upper Latria is really nice, and it looks pretty as well. Upper Latria
looks amazing on the PS5.
Yeah,
Latria Prison, the prison area.
Oh, Psychic Squidman. Psychic Squidman, who paralyzes me immediately.
Oh, that's scary. Once you get to, you do the boss of the first boss of that area, and you go to the next area. Upper Latria looks so fucking good. It was kind of jaw dropping for me, just because of just how expansive it looked, and like the use of color. It's really good. I mean, a lot of it do that for me. There's the archdemon fight of the island. Is it the Island of Storms? I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's Island of Storms.
Yeah, the archdemon fight for that give me like goosebumps. It's great. So there's still some really cool stuff, even though obviously Boletaria is probably my favorite area. There's still some good stuff waiting for you. But I totally understand what you mean about that. Also, that the go anywhere in any order you want to. I don't feel really is truthful until you do New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Because once you do New Game Plus, I think you can just carry on past Boletaria like after you do the Tower Knight. I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, fuck it, just go. Because I think as long as you've still got an Archdemon soul, yeah, you can just go, yeah, just want to do that, hey, fuck it, just there you go. And because you're such a high level by that point.
Yeah.
Obviously they scale everything, so it gets tougher. And Bog World sucks. I fucking hate
Bog World is the Plague World.
Yeah. Bog World is like the sewer level of the Demon Souls. And I know in Dark Souls 1 they have like, was it
Light
Plague Town? Yeah. Blight Town, yeah.
Getting
Where it's the same thing. And in Blight Town it's like, get ready for mosquitoes.
Great.
Yep.
Awful.
Hey,
it's awful.
Have you got a torch? You should have a torch in Blight Town.
Well, the one thing that annoyed, so like that ticked me off a little bit, but it was I dealt with it. It was okay. Then I went to the mines and I pushed on through the mines and I got to the armored spider and immediately died. And
I saw it.
Yeah, and what was really annoying to me is like I didn't. That was the start of the stream. I couldn't go the way I wanted to after Tower Knight. I was still in human form. So I had a full health bar. I went through all of the second bit, I call it the second bit of the mines. After you unlock the first shortcut of the mines, I was like, I didn't die at all until I got to the spider, and then I died. And I was like, great, now I have to fight it with even less health. The problem I have with the game is I know it's supposed to be a bit obscure. I know you're supposed to learn things as you go. But like it just does not give you enough information about certain things. I caved in the end and I looked up a few bits because I was like, if I want to enjoy this game, I need to know some of this information because the game is not going to tell me it. And so I looked up a beginner's guide on YouTube, which was 11 minutes long. And in that video, the guy said 6 times, go check the wiki. To have this build, go check the wiki for this thing's location, go check the wiki to find out where to put your stats. And it's like none of that is intuitive to it wasn't intuitive to me. I can only talk about my experience.
Right.
That's also a bad guide if he's telling you to go
it was
elsewhere.
awful. It was awful. I found a slightly better one.
Yeah.
And now I know some things. I already know that I used up a fucking boss soul that I shouldn't, and I should have kept it for my weapon. Fuck me. I found out that like now I know what the difference between human and soul form is, and I know about world tendency and all this other stuff, and it's like I don't want a 2-hour tutorial, but I would appreciate just a screen of some text or something that explained it just a little bit better.
So you can just look at to go, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So you can just refer to.
And it's a shame because I was so determined to face these things with no help, and in the end, I felt like I had to.
Yeah, even like I'm not afraid to admit, like even in Bloodborne first playthrough, me and my friend Rich, it's like, right, let's see if we've missed anything, and we just looked it up because you get to the point you're like, I want to look this up just in case because. Like I've said before, like one of the things I enjoy so much about this game is exploring everything, and I don't want to miss anything because I know the second playthrough will be harder. So it's like I want to see if there's a secret boss there. Oh, got to go and do that. So
it becomes a thing about. I'm sorry, I don't mean to walk over you. I thought you were done. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
I am done.
It's about time and value of time for me, which is why I don't really get into the Souls games. While I do enjoy the combat, I do enjoy the way the world looks, the exploration. I love the gear. I love the build potential, the different ways you can play the game, how modular or variable it is. I don't want to spend a half an hour dying to a boss that I needed a special weapon for. I don't want to spend 25, 30 minutes going through an area that ends with a locked door where I don't have the key for it yet, and I didn't get anything else besides. And that's why I really didn't get into the Souls games as much. Bloodborne was better for me because I played. Hey, Camiro. I played with a friend, and he knew a lot, and so he was my wiki page. And
was
so
your
he
guy.
was, yeah, I mean, and I just caved. I wasn't trying to be fancy. I didn't want to use the cane. I didn't want to be an arcane specialist or a blood tinge specialist. I just got the big axe. I built for strength. I spun to win every fucking time. It's
Yeah.
a good move. Hold R2, whoof, whoof, stuns them guaranteed almost like 100% of the time. Do it again right afterwards with like 1 stamina point. It's great. You can just cleave the whole place. It's wonderful. And even my buddy was like, damn, it's a whole new game when you can guarantee a stun. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty great. I enjoyed the shit out of myself. But also with Bloodborne, they didn't give me traps that killed me. They gave me traps that made me go, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And I should
Yeah.
have seen it coming. But they didn't kill me,
Mm.
which means that I didn't waste my time dying and then having to go all the way back, get my souls, be like, okay, dodge the trap this time because there's no way I would have known before. Similar to like Dark Souls 1, where you have that ball that rolls down the stairs at the very beginning. It's very obvious, but if you just have the camera pointed the wrong direction, that's it. Slam.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will admit that like I've done Souls games. I think there's absolutely, because you got those purists like no you should do it properly. It's like fuck off.
Yeah.
But the way I
I
do
want
it
my
is that,
time.
yeah, like I will try the boss about 3 times, and if it's like if I think I'm getting something wrong, I just look it up. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, because it's more a case of there's something I'm missing, and I just want to know what it is, instead of just like slamming my face into a wall repeatedly.
Yeah.
Um, and there's certain bosses where sometimes you just gotta get lucky. Like, I felt like when I was doing Bloodborne last week and I was fighting Lawrence in the Hunter's Nightmare, I think I just got unlucky because I went in there and I was doing pretty good. Forgot to repair my Chikage.
Oh
Midway through
no.
the fight, your weapon is damaged.
Oh no.
And then my damage was going down and down, and I got into his final form. I was doing okay, but I was doing fuck all damage, and I was out of they said Estus flasks. I was out of blood vials. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. But
At that
you
point, it
know, that's
becomes like an endurance test too, because like it's like the very first boss you fight in Demon Souls, the big chungus one. You go at it with a broken sword, and there's really no way you're supposed to be able to defeat it. But
Yeah.
if you're good enough and you're patient enough, like with the kind of high-end pro gamer status and patience that you get for beating the god boss in Silent Hill 3 on hard mode, which takes an actual 25 fucking minutes. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Then yeah, you can defeat it. But it's like, is that a value-added way to spend my time?
Yeah,
Only
exactly.
if you're streaming it. If you're
Yeah.
streaming it and you got viewers, yes. If
Exactly.
you're doing
And
it solo for your own benefit, I wouldn't say so.
Exactly. It's like if you enjoy it, and that's fine. But it's like if people don't, that's why like it's one of those things where you get. I've seen people like, well, how can you not like the Soulsborne games? Like, they're not for everyone.
They're not. Yeah,
Like
they're
how
not.
I can enjoy football games because I.
Even
So
I heard that.
Driving games too.
Yeah. Wow, what a cool guy. I want to be like him when I grow up.
When will that happen?
Like any dream. It's like how I can enjoy football games because I follow the sport. Not everyone gives a shit about football. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine for people to like it. Let people enjoy games the way they want to play them. If you're playing Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring when it comes out in 2050, if you want to play that game for the first time using a guide, more power to you because you know what, you're enjoying it, and
Yeah.
then we can share something that we all enjoy. That's fine. I
Yeah.
won't, but that's me. It's like how I don't like if I'm interested in the film, TV show, or a game, I fucking shut off and I don't want to know anything about. Like I saw the initial release trailer of Village when we all watched it
Oh yeah,
last year.
that's all I ever saw of it too.
And I was like, cool, it's coming out, done. And there's people
Yep.
going, "You're gonna play the demo?" No, it's the first hour. Then I'm definitely not playing it. I played the Maiden teaser, but that's because it was like a playable teaser, like the one of the ones they released for Village. Not Village.
I
Fire
strictly only played Maiden because they said this is not content in the actual game.
Like,
Well, and technically it wasn't. I mean, it featured just areas of the game, but like you were playing as a character that doesn't you don't play as in the game.
It gave a little bits of interesting backstory to the castle and the inhabitants, and that's fine. But yeah, no interest in playing the demo of the Village. But that's fine. Like other people want to. I don't understand it from my own perspective, like about spoilers and experiencing like narrative heavy games in particular. It's like people that, I mean, I don't watch soap operas, but it's like the people that watch soap operas and then read about what's going to happen in the soap opera before they watch it, and that's just that really. I mean, I've just said about how everyone should do everything Society wants to, but that's one that really confuses me. It's just like, why are you even watching it? It's like Grandpa and Lost Boys. When you've got a TV guide, you don't need a TV. So what's the point? But yeah, if that's how you want to experience that medium, then that's fine.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's how I wanted to experience Bloodborne, with a friend being like, and he didn't tell me everything, so it was like he would let me lead, like, because with Bloodborne, and this is another thing I don't like about Souls games, is that when you, or at least with Bloodborne specifically, if I joined somebody else's game, I get virtually no benefit except that I'm helping a friend. And that I can get drops off of killed monsters, but I can't get any of the placed items that are found in the world. And I still have to kill the boss myself in my own game to have killed the boss. So even if I'm helping somebody kill that boss, and afterwards I go back to my world, I still have to kick in the door and fight him again.
In your world, yeah. I think Bloodborne, you can have enemies can drop items for you, but you can't get any of the actual.
But you can't get anything that's placed in the world now.
So you can get
like you can't have a friend like lead you to the Chickage so you can just grab it or something.
Ah, Chickage. How I love that sword. It's the edgiest sword ever, and I love it.
Yeah,
uses your own blood, man.
Yeah,
badass. And then I got into a fight with Lady Maria, who basically imbues 2 swords with blood, and it's like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah.
And then she kicked my ass.
But yeah, so like I said, that's how I wanted to experience it. At least having someone I could bounce my thoughts off of, who will give me a cryptic answer at least, to figure out what to do next.
It's like, do you want to go this way? If you want to.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I'm going this way. Are you sure?
Fuck it, I'm loaded up. Let's go.
That's my favorite one to do. It's like, oh, let's go this way. Are you sure? Make them uncertain.
Yeah.
That's all.
But it was fun, like fighting the bag guys, not the bad guys, the bag guys, because they're pretty strong. They're like these really tall monsters holding a knapsack over their back for whatever reason. They'll hit you with it, does a ton of damage. But because of that axe, spin to win, I was able to just take him out no problem. I was farming him, and my buddy was just like, "Damn," because he's a fancy doodle cane guy, and not to downplay him, you know, he that's his aesthetic. That's just not mine. Mine is the bonk. Give me the bonk. He can go wiggy with the cursive handwriting if he wants to, but I'm going to go for the bonk. And because I could stun 100% of the time, I was just like blasting through areas where he was having extreme difficulty. It's like, let's go! This is so much more fun with a friend, right? But we made the segue to white noise like 20 minutes ago.
Well, I was going to say, now I at least understand why my world tendency should be black or white noise.
No, sit down. That was a good one.
It really wasn't.
No, that was amazing.
That was good.
Fucking pun of the year, man. That doesn't get any better than that.
The second when you mentioned black tendency, it just clicked in my head. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. I know where this is going.
So I chose this movie because I have a really short list of horror movies for this podcast, and it was just the only one I could remember at the time. We could have watched The Crow, but we watched White Noise instead.
That's the best review of the movie. Could have watched something else.
I still liked it. Actually, I still liked all of it, except for the end was a little... I mean, it felt a little out of place against what we were starting with. But I think that... well, let me go back to why I chose it. I chose it because I saw it in theaters. I'm not a horror movie guy, and I certainly wasn't a horror movie guy in 2005-ish, whenever it came out. But it struck me because the shadows that he sees in this movie were very similar to things that I saw in real life when I was a kid, and like low light situations, sleepy kind of feelings. I would kind of like sort of like see humanoid shadows that would appear and then run away. I'm not saying they're real. I'm not saying or anything like that, but there was something that I have seen. So when I saw this movie, and then there's shadowy demon things or whatever, I had an instant connection with the movie. But besides that, I also like the movie. I think it sets up well. Like, there's not a whole lot of fluff sitting around. I know, I see you, Lost. I see you. You got a lot to say right here, but hold on. I mean, the 2:30 in the morning thing on the clock was set up and is used repeatedly throughout the movie, and it's subtle enough that if you missed it, you missed it. It's fine.
I was going to ask if his wife died on the way to the dentist because 2:30.
Fucking hell.
I thought that was when she was supposed to have died, but like, is that also foreshadowing when? Well, the spoilers.
Go ahead. It's fine.
Did he like
everyone
also die
saw
at
the movie
2:30?
before we got the podcast, right? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because anyone in the chat hasn't seen it, they're going to be narky about the fact you're spoiling the movie. It's like, one, it came out 16 years ago. Two, you don't really care. If you really cared, you'd go and watch the movie. You just seen it already.
But yeah, so that's why I chose it, and like I said, I still liked it. Watching it all the way through, I felt like it was set up. It had good. I don't know what the word is, but I'm gonna say procession. Like from scene to scene to scene, things made sense. It was an easy to follow plot.
Yeah, it flows fairly okay, I would say.
Yeah,
I mean, at times that could be a criticism. It's very generic in my eyes, very kind of formulaic.
Well, see, I think that me coming from the background that I have of absolutely not watching a whole lot of horror movies, generic formulaic still feels kind of fresh to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, if somebody's like watched stacks of horror movies, it's like, I've seen this movie before 16 other times around that same era because the directors were all on the same kind of ball at that time, which that's fair.
Same as Ghosts.
Yeah. It's kind of like...
The movie is kind of like the only way I can describe it, I wrote down, I would call it the sad smart guy's paranormal adventure, and I think it kind of started with things like Ghost, and if we're being mean, Jacob's Ladder as well, up through Sixth Sense, and the thing this reminded me the most of, the Mothman Prophecies, which I prefer the Mothman Prophecies to this. This is kind of like Tesco value. Mothman Prophecies in my eyes.
Aldi.
Yeah, Aldi. All right, perfectly okay, but like I've seen it done better.
Yeah, perfectly okay, but I've never seen the Mothman Prophecy, so I mean,
it's pretty good.
And for my next choice.
What, you're not going to pick White Noise, The Light? You're going to pick the sequel that has none of the returning cast in it. That stars.
That's
Nathan
how you know
Fillion.
it's good. That's how
it's like, oh, no one came back.
Psycho 2, American Psycho 2 has none of the returning cast in it.
Oh, Jesus.
And it also completely misses the point of the movie because there's a sequel at all.
Oh, God. And it's Norman Bates has possessed a young woman. Like, what?
Sure he did.
Yeah, whatever you say, bud.
I've still never seen that, by the way.
Oh,
good. I haven't seen it either. I don't even want to acknowledge it outside of a joke.
I don't mean the second one. I haven't seen the first one.
This one's pretty good. It's okay.
The first one's great. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Well, the most I've seen of it is a gif of him like walking in a suit, and it's like he's been put into Half-Life 2, and he's walking through a Half-Life 2 level.
Yeah, he puts the music. Yeah, it's pretty good.
You've seen the card meme though.
What?
When the card meme where like they are sitting around a table and somebody is like handing a business card to somebody for them to look at, and it's like, oh, it's powder white with obsidian black font, slightly raised, thickened for tasteful thickness of it or whatever. And it's like every one of their business cards is exactly the same by the untrained eye, but everyone else has like these really intricate details for it. But they memed it by like making it so like the card was like a Pokemon cartridge and all the Pokemon were the same or something. And,
looking really angry at the shiny Charizard.
Looking at it, something like that. But yeah.
As you were saying, obviously, as you said, because you don't watch as much horrors as myself or Tom, because I didn't like it. I think it's safe to say, but taking into what you said as consideration, thinking about it, it's clearly not a movie for me. But maybe you could argue it's a good entry point to horror for people. Like I'd say maybe that is the nicest thing I can say about it. It's it's good entry. It's a really good entry point for horror because obviously there was so many like cliches that obviously we have his wife dies, but it's it's like so idyllic that I'm amazed she didn't, as she was even go, and also John, I have the cure for cancer on my person, and if anything happens to me, we'll never cure cancer, and little Timmy will never get out of that situation. It's like, oh no, everything's idyllic.
That we're so happy together. The happy music's playing, smoochy smoochy. Oh, and I'm pregnant.
Like,
I can't see this going wrong at all.
Like, don't let her leave the house. She's so like, and I'm gonna retire. She's dead, John.
Let her go. She'll die in a car crash.
don't give her a drink because she'll choke. But also that, and then you've got mysterious British actor. Because there's always a mysterious British person usually in these films. There's always a mysterious British person. So it's a lot of cliches. It also it's weird because it's nearly 2 hours long, and it feels like it doesn't really get towards the real meat of the plot until like 50 minutes in.
Yeah, that's true.
Mysterious British man dies. And you're like, oh, he's good, and you know. Just all I could think of was because that British guy he's dead now, like legit, but he was in so many American films. It's like, yeah, he's probably had to leave early to go and so he could be casting something else. He had another shoot down the road, but like he dies. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, he's just going to people.
Yeah, he picks up where that guy leaves off.
Like, I was thinking like it'd be really cool if it was like he's investigating crimes and stuff like. And it's she's sending me messages from things that are going to happen.
I was going to say, I don't think that guy is dead in real life.
Isn't he? I'm sure he was dead. Maybe he just looks like it.
Looks like you missed Lost.
What?
No, because I remember this guy is someone like I've seen in 100 things, but I could never name any of them. If you know what I mean, he's just like one of those actors. Like the most notable thing the most notable thing I know him from, ironically, is Doctor Who. He played Winston Churchill in quite a few episodes.
I'm thinking of another fattish English actor that's dead. The guy from Pie in the Sky.
You're thinking of Vernon Dursley, yeah.
Yes, the guy from Pie in the Sky.
From Harry Potter?
Why do I remember Pie in the Sky? I could have said Harry Potter. And I said Pie in the Sky instead of the obscure British.
Oh, by the way, just to add for you, Ian McNeice, the guy we're talking about, was also in Pie in the Sky. If you want some real fucked up, twisted, like it's all connected shit.
Oh my god.
Number 47.
If you don't know, Pie in the Sky was a police drama about a chef who solved crimes.
Yeah, and it had Vernon Dursley.
It was the weirdest thing, and everyone
Richard
used to watch it.
That's his name.
Richard Griffiths. He was great. He was also in the Naked Gun 1, I think. But anyway, so obviously he picks up where mysterious British man left off.
Yeah.
And just like neglects his
Right.
That's the funniest moment in the film for me.
Before we continue with that, because I do real quick also, the son was a complete dead weight in the movie.
What's he in the movie?
However, well, it's so that there's be more an idyllic experience between, Michael Keaton's character and his wife's character. They're married and they have a child already, and the second one's on the way. What better thing than having a nice house and 2 kids and nice car and the brightest future possible than having that ruined by the movie's plot. Anyway, the point is, I'd like to go through a plot synopsis real quick, just so that everyone's on board, because we're talking about stuff that we don't have any context for. Thing is, we have, and this is hilarious to me. I don't really know what an architect makes money-wise, but it's funny how in movies, architects always live in these really sparse, like wide open houses with like concrete block steps that are like hanging in the air with like steel posts that looks like if you stubbed your toe anywhere in this house, you'd lose your whole foot because you're going to get gangrene. It's going to break your legs and all that kind of shit. Everything is just square. He even actually has like cube lights that are like placed on a table as opposed to like being a lamp or something. It's just here's a cube light, and then here's a cube light, and
like it's a Hollywood
he
thing,
lives
isn't
like
it?
in this really modernized concrete bunker situation.
It's a job that you have to be intelligent to do. So it's shorthand for like intelligent, rational.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like
person.
that point.
And also, I guess, like, if you stop turning up to work and start doing your ghost shit, like, 12 hours a day, like, no one's going to know.
No one's going to call your ass out on it.
Yeah, like, but it's such a Hollywood thing, isn't it? Where they're always like, well, an architect, well, they'll live in a modern house because they're architects. I'm like, have you ever met an architect?
Like, yeah.
The guy from Heavy Rain's an architect as well. That's...
Yep.
So,
it's weird that like architects,
and he has the same kind of fucking house too, doesn't he?
Oh my
fucking
God,
hollow rectangle bookshelves that don't actually fit the books in them. They're just sort of like laying in there. They can be pushed out or pulled in.
Jason. It's that weird thing. Like they it's like Hollywood writers just assume that these architects are either minted or well, they're architects, so they obviously live in a really fancy modern building. Like maybe they don't. Maybe like a lot of architects probably like older builds because they probably find them really cool.
I guess it's really like a fat or a smoker doctor. It's like they exist, but you can't possibly have one in your movie because then they don't represent what they're supposed to do for a living, I guess.
Yeah. And I do think it's a little funny how this is a couple where one is a famous author, which does net them some money. A famous author, not like a Stephen King, I can't get a book out anymore because fucking brain doesn't work author. Or and we have an architect. However, I did notice that he seemed to run his own firm. Like the one scene where he's like meeting with somebody and they do the elevator scene or whatever, but also he has people working under him.
Yeah,
he's not just he's not just an architect. He seems to have, and this is why I'm saying I like the movie, because there are subtle details in there that actually answer those kinds of questions if you're looking for them. I do think it's like a well shot movie in that regard. Like you see the clock in the very beginning, and it stops, and then they feed you that several times over. I don't like the house, but it's an architect's house. Fine, whatever. He does have money because of where he works and his wife and all that kind of stuff. And what else is there? Anyway, plot synopsis. I totally went off track. So, happy married couple. Wife gets in the car to go take her son somewhere, and then it's she has.
It's her stepson.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Stepson. And then they go drive somewhere. Something happens. It seemed like a tire got busted out, and she got out, broke her head by slipping into some rock somewhere by accident. And I don't know how the kid makes it out. That's one big plot hole to me.
She dropped him at school in the morning, and then later on she was gonna come home in the evening, and she said, I'm gonna go hang with my friend, and he's like, oh yeah, don't get drunk or whatever, and she's like, no, I'll just drink water, and then she never comes back from the friend's house, and also the friend doesn't answer the phone.
Speaking of phone, I did kind of watch the movie like this.
Don't blame me.
Wait for. Listen for Chris's voice in the static.
Watch a different film.
Did you hear that EVP?
Just go. Just go.
I will say, it's such a weird choice that Anna Rivers, wife of Jonathan Rivers, died in a river. Or you're supposed to think she died in a river.
Yeah, a flowing body of water.
His first wife doesn't know how lucky she is to have changed her name back, because you marry him and you die based on his surname. That's what I've decided exists now.
Yeah,
which is why that other lady's really lucky, because he was thinking of changing his name to Jonathan Balcony. If she'd married him, she would have died.
Yeah, she would have died for sure. But yeah, so. We're given the information that the wife dies in a car accident or some kind of thing near a river.
Well, she's supposed to have fallen into the water, but she had her arm broken and her head bashed, so she couldn't swim or breathe. So she essentially supposed to have drowned and also floated upstream.
Yeah, the full detail is that the tire burst and she was supposed to fix it, but she was wearing heels.
Flow from upstream to downstream.
Okay. Heels wobbly, and then she trips falls into like the rocks that if you go to a riverbed or whatever in a civilized area, it's always stacked heavy big rocks for just this particular purpose to kill someone. And
She's
she
an
hit her
author,
head.
man, not a fucking scientist. Give her a break.
She hit her head and broke her arm on the rocks, and apparently rolled into the river and went upstream, etc., etc. But there's still hope. They didn't find a body yet, so
The police are hopeful.
Jonathan, what's that?
There's the bit on the news, and they go, "The police are hopeful."
Yeah, they're hopeful.
Yeah.
They found blood and brains on the rocks. The police are hopeful.
Ash is probably all right. She
Yeah.
likes fucking swimming.
And then
Sorry.
Jonathan Rivers still thinks that maybe his wife is still alive, so he's holding out, which is when we cue in a mysterious British guy who says, "Hey, I've heard from your wife through my magical EVP stuff." And of course, Jonathan Rivers is like, "I don't believe any of that shit at all. Get the fuck away from me." But then mysterious British man is like, here's my card. Just pick it up, put it in a drawer, forget about it, never look at it again.
Print it on eggshell,
but
black
throw it
font.
away.
Am I doing the meme right?
Yes. The American Psycho.
Printed on eggshell white or whatever.
Yes, eggshell white. Yes, charcoal black, slightly raised lettering, the tasteful thickness of it. You've got to watch just that scene. It's so funny.
Great. It's a really funny scene.
But yeah, so he does take the card, and of course, later on, they do find out that she had passed away, and mysterious British guy was correct. I don't remember how it goes to him going back to that guy though, unless he just wanted to. Right, because mysterious British guy was like, "Hey, your wife's dead," and then Rivers is like, "No, she's not," and then it gets confirmed on TV for everyone to know that she totally got killed.
He sort of hears something as well
on his really old radio cassette player, his Sony radio cassette player. Because I don't know about you guys, but after watching the film, I really want to go and buy some Sony products.
I want to get a Sony Triniton CRT monitor right now for my speed runs on retro games.
I'm not surprised she chose to contact him through it though, because it was her favorite MP3 enabled jukebox.
MP3 enabled.
I love the early 2000s. It's like stamped clear on it.
Yeah, it's you're watching. Oh my god, they're using VHS. They're using mini disc.
Mini disc, yeah, I saw mini disc.
Yeah.
Also Sony. But yeah, because I think he hears her voice say like John or something. On the the radio box thingy before, and then the police turn up. That's it. Yeah, police turn up. He's like, fucking know what this is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like that scene. I mean, like it's weird that it's 2:30 in the morning again. This is the second time we see 2:30 in the morning when the policemen knock on the door and he runs down there. I mean, I would like to know what happened to my wife. Earliest possible opportunity, but 2:30 in the morning. Like,
you have breakfast.
I'm probably asleep. I'm probably asleep. And if all the lights are out in the house, and you can tell because he lives in a fancy architect mansion where there's a bunch of windows and stone everywhere, you could probably see him from the driveway in bed where he's at. And yeah, he's totally asleep. Let's fucking come back later. We'll just leave a slip under the door or something, and he can wake up, get the newspaper, hold his coffee, and be like, "Your wife's dead. Sorry." Oh,
sorry. You weren't in. Please contact us on this. Rebook your visit.
2:30 a.m.
But yeah, so your wife is found dead. You need to leave your 13 ghosts' house and go and live instead in a trendy, like,
he does, doesn't he?
Industrial apartment with like exposed concrete and all the things you were talking about before, just slightly different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because there's one thing like.
He probably made the damn thing in the world universe or whatever.
Yeah. That's one thing like thinking about, bringing up that she's an author, because like by the time the movie's over, I completely forgot that. Because I think that's probably only a tool just for there to be like news broadcasts overlaying it, but I don't even think you need that, because someone going missing like that and be going that long, that usually makes the news anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's that some other characters also mentioned that about his wife, say, "Oh yeah, she was a really good writer" or something like that. So like maybe it's a way that they connect with the other characters. Right.
There's two things. One, the psychic seance that he visits when the psychic lady says, "Your wife was an author," that would be like no news for him because she's a famous author. So it
Yeah.
would set up how that
Mm.
doesn't mean anything. But
Yeah.
then the wife being pregnant thing, which only he knew, would give us the audience the idea that, oh, she's a real psychic. Oh, damn, that she really does know what's going on. But even then, Jonathan Rivers goes away, which is another reason why I like this movie. Like they set some things up really well in the small, subtle realm of the dialogue or whatever. And on top of that, it gives him an in with his new side character that he's buddy with, because she owns a bookstore, so she knows his wife and will therefore easily trust him, so they can just speed along the relationship, the friendship, the partnership that they have in the rest of the movie, instead of just being like, hey, I happen to be here, want to be friends? You know?
The one thing though that made me like, because I must admit, watching this movie, I was just chuckling to myself, thinking of jokes I could make about this movie. Like, I was enjoying the movie, but I was also doing that in my brain, and I was sat there like thinking, how gutting would it be? It's like you fight tooth and nail, you listen to all these tapes for hours on end to get news of your partner from the other side, and you finally get through to them, and you're like, oh honey, I miss you so much, and they're like, yeah, but grab a pen because I want you to publish a book I was planning to write.
I wrote something kind of similar. Like I was like, because I was quite bored watching it, and I was just thinking like better films or stories that could be made using elements. It was like, what about like she writes a book about her experiences as a ghost?
Yeah, he's
Using
the
it as
ghost
medium.
writer.
Yeah, it was like ghost.
Oh, shit.
Like that'd be a fun movie. It's like, yeah, it's, like, this is what it's like. It's pretty fucking weird.
Gary,
Like,
the last Stephen King book, it's kind of like, it's more like The Sixth Sense, but with the same premise.
What that we just spoke about.
Yeah.
It's like being a ghost.
Oh, wow.
It's all right. It's kind of weird, right? You just kind of float around a bit.
No, not that the ghost writes about what it's like to be dead, but like people abusing a kid with powers to go and talk to a ghost to find out what the last book was supposed to be. That premise.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. That's cool.
yeah, it was good.
That's kind of cool. I like
book.
that. That's a cool premise.
Look forward to seeing it as a movie in like 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, because that is something I absolutely believe that would happen. Like, yeah. What about this? Like, fuck off, bro. Like, yeah, to ask George R. R. Martin how it's supposed to end.
God, I'm done with George R. R. Martin, but I'm not going to talk about him. We're on our time and our podcast. George R. R. Martin doesn't get anything else from me. Anyway, so this all eventually leads into Jonathan Rivers going to see Mysterious British Man, who has TVs, computers, VHS tapes, mini discs, cassette tapes. He's recording literal white noise so that he can play it back and listen for messages from the beyond. Yeah. And this is also where he meets his friend. Was it Catherine something Unger?
Oh, the cat lady.
No, not the cat lady. The lady who played Dahlia.
She looks like a
Dahlia
cat lady.
Gillespie from the Silent Hill movie.
She looks like Maureen Ponderosa from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when she starts turning into a cat. She does. She looks like a cat.
I can't remember her name. Deborah Kara Unger. There we go. That's her name. And that's pretty cool because honestly, like, when I saw her again, I was like, oh shit, that's the first time I've ever seen her, which is why in the Silent Hill movie, it's kind of like she stuck out to me probably, but my brain doesn't have a very good memory. So this is a subconscious memory that I had. I was like, I've seen you before.
I know you.
And she was there, going through the seance thing where she was learning that, what was it? It was Sarah, yes. Yeah, her husband had died, and her husband had promised that if there's a possible way to get her to let her know that everything's fine on the other side, that he would contact her, which he did through Mysterious British Man, and they decoded the message. It was Sarah, yes, something like that. Because I think her name was Sarah Kate. Yeah,
thanks, honey.
Just
use more words, sweetheart.
It's like, yeah, it's all right.
So it's like,
Sarah, yes, I am your husband.
Oh my god, honey. Sounds just like him.
Yeah.
Go to the corner of 3rd and 4th. Wait for George.
I will do it. It's like, hey, can you believe this dumbass? So I'd get him.
So,
sell my drugs for me.
And then from this point, they that's when Jonathan Rivers becomes less of a cynic and starts to believe that his wife can be heard from beyond the grave.
Yeah, he
he
believes it like really quick as well, doesn't he? Which was,
I mean, he wants to.
Yeah, like,
you know.
I mean, the
it
one
was
thing I
kind
was
of
going to
refreshing. Kind of.
Yeah. Well, the one thing
But
I
it
was going to
wasn't.
say is it would have been so awesome if it turned out that strange British guy was actually just like making a cult, and he was like gaslighting everyone and making them believe that they were thinking like,
Yeah.
listen real closely, you can hear him, and she's saying, "Hello, I'm a ghost," and oh my god, yeah, and like
Yeah, it does
actually it's
sound like
just like
that.
group psychosis. They're like all
Yeah.
believe that, but no, everything is completely 100% factually true.
Yeah, like because yeah, there's ways it could go in, and I did actually I wrote like 4 pages of notes of just like screaming, and at one point, because there's that one moment where he's just kind of like sat there like just watching. It's like, well, they did it. It's a fateful representation of how fucking boring ghost hunting is in real life. Because it
That's
is just
true. That's, you know what? Yeah. That to me, damn, that's true, because that is what ghost hunting is in real life.
yeah. Because when you set up those shows and they're just like, I think we heard something. And it's just like, oh, I think he said Karen. Like, but obviously in this, like more happens. But there is those moments where
Yeah.
it's like, Dad, what are you doing? Oh, I've just gone crazy.
I just want to
Yeah.
say how awesome a family man he is. Like he's so
Terrible.
desperate to talk to his dead wife that like his kid is there, and he's like just go. Your mom's here.
So-
Just fuck off, kid. And the
Yeah.
kid's like, are you gonna be okay, Dad? He's like, yeah, sure. But your
Yeah,
mom's
Sharon.
like, go. I need
He's
to
like-
do my ghost hunting shit now.
Goodbye. No, I just don't care about it. I forgot because again, they were saying about the kid. Like, I forgot the kid was in it until the ending. It's like, oh fuck, he had a kid, didn't he? Like, but it's weird because there's tropes and cliches falling out of the woodwork in this, but they don't use the. They never use that. It's weird. Like they never use that moment of you're neglecting your son, John. He's still here. There's not that moment. It's
That's
weird.
true. I think
And-
it's delivered mostly in the eyes of
Yeah.
his ex-wife. It's
Like-
kind of like,
She's
take as long as you need, John.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's I wrote that there's something I'd really like buried under all this. There's an interesting premise for me buried somewhere, and the really and what's really annoying is that there's some creative and stylish cinematography at times
I was
that
gonna say that. Yeah.
that like initially it's like well it's quite good, and then it kind of disappears out of the film for a while, and then it kind of comes back and it's like there was skill and love put into some of this, but it does also feel very rushed in places because there's some really fucking bad ADR and it's like, oh, yes, you are totally saying that, not Michael Keaton in the elevator with your colleague who is also not in the same fucking room as you because there is no echo. It's like, yes, when will it be done? It will be done when I say it is done. It's like,
So what's ADR?
ADR is basic when so it happens a lot in films where they'll shoot everything and they'll list about they're like, oh fuck, the audio's fucked. Oh, I mean not always, but sometimes a lot of time they do it when the audio's fucked. They're like, get him in the booth and just have him like recite his lines. Or there's other
Yeah.
times where they'll
Quite
have
often
ADR.
they've got the rushes or the footage, and they play it back for the actor, so the actor can try and match the performance.
Yeah.
Essentially, so they have a clean recording of the voice, so they can kind of like layer it in sounds and stuff.
Okay.
Like a lot of those old Italian horror films that I go on about, like Zombie Flesh Eaters, I think all of that is ADR. Because
There are some movies that just go
Yeah.
that route. Like they'll
Yeah,
film,
'cause-
they might pick up the sound on set, but they will go and record everything in a booth afterwards.
because a lot of those Italian films, the cameras they were using were so noisy. They had to ADR everything. But yeah, it's weird, like because some of it is really rushed, and it's clearly rushed. But I think that's one of the reasons I was so frustrating is because there's something there that I know I could like, and there's something else like there's a good idea here, and they just don't commit to it, or they take too long to get there.
Yeah.
Like
I think
the
I
ending,
could say something about that too, but continue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
but like the ending is one of the worst parts. I mean, I didn't like the film overall, but the ending is just it's very Hollywood anyway.
I think it's
Yeah, it is.
Here's the big
as
here's
well.
and like there's that reveal. And you go, it was that guy who was in
Yeah.
Scene.
Scene.
In one scene, we had
Yeah.
like 2 words.
Yeah.
Like you said, "You okay?" and that's it. And we're supposed to go, "Oh
It's
wow!"
him. Like, because he comes on, he's like, "Hey, John." I'm like, it's like, am I supposed to know you? And then it shows you the flashback. I'm like, him?
Yeah.
the elevator guy.
Yeah,
You
the
guys
guy
are
who
the
worked
elevator
at a
guy.
construction site and was on screen once with
Yeah.
no interaction besides that.
Yeah.
Like that's a cool thing to do cleverly, but it's not done well here. Not
It's
at
just like-
all.
You're like, who are you? You should, because that's you should never have a reveal in your film, and the audience, if the audience turn and go, who's that? Like, who the hell's this
Yeah.
guy? Like, that's no. Like, that's when I was thinking, like, we were talking obviously about mysterious British guy. Like, what if he fakes his own death? What if it's actually him? I don't know. That'd be stupid anyway. But at least you go, what? It's you all along, Old Man
Yeah.
Jeffers. What? Old Man
Yeah.
Jeffers is a character we've established. And then you got the ghost. It's like, they told me to do it, John. Why? But
Well,
that
they're
was
the
really-
ones who like damage.
They established it. Yeah, well, they did establish that. They said like there are some some of the ghosts are actually demons, and
Yeah.
they just like fucking people up, and they
But
just want to hurt people. You
But then
remember
I-
like the excellent seance lady, like you were saying, Chris, who
He's blind.
like you're led to believe is kind of like a fraud. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's not going to learn anything here because he's learning it all off his tapes, and that's how it's like. She's just a hack. Except she does like know a lot of shit, and she's like, "Don't meddle with demons, you Mr. Meddler. You're gonna get fucked up."
He's
And-
bad.
Yeah.
It's me, Elbow in the audience. Are you on VOD? Yes. They're elbowing to make sure they're awake. No, but there's things like the demons, like because watching like, okay, so they get humans to do their bidding. Cool. But then it's also shown that they can physically interact with people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so
Yeah.
why would you have like it's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like the movie's trying. That's why again I feel like it's got too many ideas, and it's like, oh, it's this
Yeah.
film, but it's actually it's this film as well. It's like you.
Why have the demons do all the bad work when you can have a person who doesn't cost as much, like in budget, to do it?
Do you think maybe they were like looking at the dailies or they saw the effect and they're like, we've not got it. We've
My
not
least
got
favorite
it.
thing about the movie was the ghost effect, and specifically the demons. Like it just looked so cheap.
It's like we've not got it.
Even for 2004, 2005, I was saying on the chat earlier, like Ring was 2002, and like Samara coming
That's great.
through the screen, she looks like like glitchy digital. It looks amazing. So it's purely they just didn't care that much about that.
Yeah, that's because I think what helps with that as well is that they
Ghost
incorporate
has
practical
better
and-
visual effects. 1990.
Yeah. That's just
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze with his shirt off.
Yeah,
Most people are like that anyway.
That's all anyone saw in that movie.
Don't care if it's a ghost.
But I wanted to go back to that thing I wanted to mention. Like this movie does seem like it's two movies, and that's
Yeah,
I think that's the major problem with it. Like the beginning to the middle to where he's like talking to ghosts and stuff. That could lead to a Ghost, the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze kind of movie. And it would have been better, I think, if it arced that way. But maybe they had to like turn it into a horror movie, or else it wouldn't sell. So they arced it a different way, and I think that's where you get some of these inconsistencies. They really didn't need to have that worker there. But the problem is, at the end of the movie, when the demons are all scared away because the cops showed up, and the one guy that's there who can be killed and give us some closure, somebody's got to get killed. So that guy gets killed. That's what he's there for. Yeah,
Detective Man
and
saved today. He was in 4 scenes.
I will say, I
Yeah.
think that guy's also he serves another purpose, right? Because if you are the cops and you turn up at the end and you find the kidnapped woman in a disused factory pier, whatever the fuck, like Rainland, and you find Michael Keaton dead, your first assumption is Michael Keaton tied this woman up.
I'd been happy.
exactly.
So
Oh my
I think
God,
having
they
a
think it's him.
human corporeal body there that they've shot kind of like at least like clears that plot element up. They wouldn't, because I was thinking that the guy like he turned up at his house and found it completely fucked up. I guess by ghosts.
Yeah.
The demons showed up, and because
Like, why are they
remember
doing it now?
the wife was like, just go, and he's like, huh. And then it's like the middle of the sign, the keep out sign was flashing, and he saw the pier, and he was like, okay, and he ran
Like-
out and got into a car middle of the night.
bitch! No! You fucking no!
It's just like,
But
it's Anna.
it's probably
She's just going, fuck you.
it's probably assumed that the demons showed up and they were going to kill him there, but he wasn't there. So when they showed back up at the warehouse, busted up construction site, whatever the fuck, that's where they killed him instead. And like Matt or Lost said earlier, I think it's pretty valid that those demons didn't need anybody to do anything for him outside of the plot reasons, the outside of the screenplay reasons. And it does kind of weaken the narrative with that.
Yeah, because I think if you go the darker route where they kill him and the police show up and they go, well, obviously old Michael Keaton did it. Like, yeah, it's a dark ending, but hey, that's way scary. 'Cause it's like, oh my god, that's what these fucking things do, right? They get off on this. Like, that's how they clear. They go, yeah, you just got some crazy guy did it, and that's how they keep they fuck with these people, and that makes it a bit scary in terms instead of yeah, you work, man, go and kill them. Is like, yeah, I'm like, has he killed before? I'm assuming he has.
Isn't he supposed to have killed Anna?
He's supposed to have killed his wife.
Yeah.
Which I want to say, like, if they would have removed the workman and then linked Michael Keaton's character to his wife's murder and this woman's murder, and then rolled credits, that would have been way more impactful of an ending.
What?
Yeah, I'd have been down for that.
I have questions. What, like the original ending to that terrible, again, mid-2000s horror film Boogeyman, which was supposed to be more psychological and make you question whether the character's actually insane or not. Give people questions, make people uncertain. Sometimes it's like, is he really seeing anything, or does he just want to see? Like, you question, but obviously it's easy to just go, no, it's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be great if he just like made EVP Club up by himself. Yeah. Like there was no British guy.
Fight Club.
Yeah. The first rule of EVP Club is you can only appear in the tapes to other members of EVP Club.
Yeah.
And also be kind, rewind your tapes, I guess.
Yeah. And also John, don't go and talk to a grieving husband and widower.
Right.
At the funeral.
So like to continue with the plot synopsis, just to frame this, later on he realizes that the people who are dead in the white noise are not actually dead, but are going to die. So in a strange turn of the plot, he becomes a superhero with precognitions that he can basically save people. And they're all people that are in town, not like in India somewhere, but like in town. He can do something. So
you haven't seen Mothman Prophecies, Chris, but like that is literally what happens in Mothman Prophecies.
Okay.
Even down to the point of like local stuff is happening. I'm only seeing the local stuff. Because I can fix it, kind of thing.
Yeah, they do it a good way in that because everyone's like, "You fucking weird."
Yeah, they also treat him like he's fucking crazy, and no one in this movie does.
Except for the husband that we're about to talk about. So he sees a woman. Like first, he sees his wife, and his wife is like, unlike all the other spirits, just sustained. Just look, I'm here for you, John. John.
By the way, can I also just add that John is a really fucking common name, and so it could be any fucking spirit that knew a John once.
John, which one?
John, yes. Oh, that tells me everything I need. John, yes.
John Rivers. Okay, that is me because you got to nail this down, honey.
You gotta narrow this down. Try harder. We've always had a problem with communication in our marriage, and now after you're dead, it's still fucking a problem.
Why do ghosts like what is the rule in all these films? Why are ghosts like they have to be either so fucking cryptic, or they're just like they can say stuff that doesn't help? Like, John, like, do you want go?
Can we just make a pact right here and now that we have some kind of like magical safe word that if any of us die and can appear to the others, and we want to like console them with the fact that like life goes on and spirit is invincible, etc., we just say something like oatmeal. And
banana.
All of us will know what that means.
Banana.
You
guys can say oatmeal. I'm going to say banana. That way you'll know who it is.
It'll be like we'll just be like, maybe he wants a banana and just like run to the grave because like it's too ambiguous. Maybe he's just
put a banana on the stone.
When Spoonie was still making videos and he was reviewing the Paranormal Activity films, and he started out liking them and he ended up hating the lesser ones. And there's one bit where they like exorcise the demon And obviously it comes back because everyone always dies in those fucking movies because they're bereft of creativity. And there's this one where like they exercise the demon in 2, and then like, and they know it's going to go to the next person, and no one says anything. And he's like, you think you turn around to the guy and go, look, if she starts acting weird, just douse a crucifix in olive oil and exorcise the demon, right? They're like, yeah, I'm crazy. It's like, it's a bit like if I came to you and went, if your dog starts talking, throw a lemon at it. You'd be like, you're crazy. But the second your dog started talking, you'd throw a lemon at it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I'd be like, shit, I gotta
That's
go to
what that
Walmart
crazy
right
British
now.
guy said to do.
I gotta get a lemon. Stay right there, dog. I'm gonna lemon you up.
You'd be like,
Turns out ghosts hate citric acid. It's weird, but it's true.
John, like that.
So yeah,
it's like in Mortal Kombat 9, isn't it? When Raiden sends a message back and he goes, "He must
Exactly
win."
like Mortal Kombat 9. Carry on.
So, it's like he must. Like 50 fucking male characters. Who? Liu Kang? No. Just say it.
yeah. Say the name.
Just say the fuck.
Or what if it said like Liu must win, but you heard you must win?
Like,
so like the entire movie or game or whatever, you're thinking I've got to win, and then you die, and it's like, oh no, he didn't win.
Yeah.
But then Liu Kang shows up and he wins, and the prophecy is still fulfilled. That's ghost talk for you 101 right there.
Exactly. But
So
yeah, like we're saying about like the 2 films in one. I think it's the whole shadows thing is very Hollywood. It's like, no, there has to be a big villain. It's like, no, okay. It's like demons, because demons are evil, right? So we'll go with demons, or just angry spirits work. But yeah, I think there's a better story in there. Even if because obviously it's very Hollywood. What happens at the end? Because of course it always is.
yeah, it is. It's very Hollywood at the end. It's actually, after finishing the movie, I was very displeased with how the movie ended, because it even ends on a jump scare that I watched a few times over.
Yeah,
There's nothing there.
Yeah, because I was like, is it like his face or something in there? I'm like, no, it's just
she's just like,
it's like, fuck off,
jump scare.
Yeah,
and then there's just nothing there.
It's like, come on, like there's not even anything there. Like it's like a cat jumping out. Like, come on. Like yeah, it's because like you've got the sacrifice, because it always has to happen, and it's so
the heroic sacrifice.
It's like, wow, yeah, I feel sorry for the kid.
Yeah,
but
hey, kid's mom's still alive.
Yeah, so he's got,
and he spent a lot of time there recently, so they're already bonding again. It's fine.
You hear his voice on the radio, and he goes, "I'm sorry, Mikey," and in my head, it just like finishes off. I'm sorry, Mikey. I used all our vacation tapes to record my ghost shit. You'll never know me growing up because I'm gone.
Wow, yeah, that's harsh.
What? He's like, froze it. I recorded over Cowboy Bebop, and it'll never be broadcast on Cartoon Network again. Like, you son of a bitch! Like, glad you're dead. But yeah, like you got the big sacrifice. Like, I think there's just a more melancholic ending you can have, where he realizes that he has to let go of it, because obviously he keeps chasing. It's like, you can't. I think that'd have been a much more important, like, way better as well. If there's like a message where it's like, yeah, but you can't, just because you can hear them doesn't mean you can really connect with them again.
Right.
It's like you're chasing this thing, and it's like all they can do is send out. It's almost like you're hearing memories. Maybe,
yeah.
Like, it's not them actually communicating. It's like, so you're constantly pulling this endless rope, and you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah,
and instead it's
that would actually be a better movie.
Yeah,
honestly,
like, instead, like faceless demon things that are angry for reasons that want someone to kill for them, even though they kill the main character. They kill our main character. They'll snap his fucking leg in half. Like, you hear it, you hear the crack. You're like, Jesus Christ.
See, like, going back again to me not having watched many horror movies, that had the same impact on me as what was it? It Follows had when I first watched that. When there's the ladies running on the beach, and they eventually get caught, and the following scene where she's contorted and all out of shape and shit. I was like, oh fuck. So for me, seeing Keaton all broken like that was a big impact for me, and I think that's where a lot of horror audiences. Horror movies get their money. Those first timers who show up, or those thrill seekers who don't really care about like the movie, the composition, or whatever. They just want to see a shocking scene or two, and they'll pay a movie theater like $8, $12, and maybe like fucking take out a mortgage so they can go see it. Depending on how fucking expensive it's going to be lately.
Yeah, I think I'm not that it needed more violence, but it definitely needed more threat. These things never really felt that threatening because you don't get enough time with them.
Yeah, you don't get enough time with them, and they get scared off by cops.
Yeah, by Detective Man, who is like, "Hey, here's my card." Like, it's a big scene. Like, are you going to come back later? Wait, you are. You can ask if he's and then you're gonna shoot the guy. Oh, jeez, he doesn't even kill the bat. Like, he doesn't even. He's not the one that takes down the villain. It's like Detective Man shows up and just shoots him with his SWAT team.
Yeah,
like, I did SWAT right now.
Yeah. Like, what if the demons killed the cop instead, and then Michael Keaton found a way to trap the ghosts in a VCR tape, and then.
Just records
fucking Ghostbusters shit. He like throws a tape, it slides out dramatically, and the fucking ghosts are like, oh no! And they get the tape rewinds itself, right?
I'm being downloaded off the interwebs.
Yeah,
because like
that's why I think what happened is that they were generally going for Patrick Swayze Ghost, and then someone had to make a hard turn to a horror movie, because that is what it feels like to me. It starts out kind of sweet. A little bit shocking, but not in a way that's like horror related. Just like I think there's like 3 jump scares, which that's a forgivable amount over a 2-hour movie.
Really well telegraphed. He was like leaning into the TV and putting his forehead on it. I was like, something's gonna go boo, and it did. So at least it was like telegraphed. It wasn't like
the cheapest one is definitely the end credits one. It's like,
absolutely.
Like, also, like.
I gotta say this. I'm so sorry, but I've gotta say this. The end credits one, not the jump scare, but the fact that Sarah is in a wheelchair completely alone in the middle of a graveyard. Like, no one to assist her. She came out of the hospital. I assume she drove her wheelchair to the gravesite because there's nobody with her willing to put her in a car and take her home. She's just alone out there.
I was about to say the exact same thing. I was watching. I was like, is anyone going to give her a ride home? I think I'm just trouble. She's like, it's getting kind of creepy out here.
I have a question, right? Like, when she threw herself off the balcony, was she supposed to be possessed or something?
Yeah, that's a huge hole for me, because like, one, they don't possess, or they haven't possessed anybody. They influence and suggest, but one would think that it takes some time besides just, hey, get out of bed, get on the balcony. You got like 2 minutes. Hurry it up.
You would also think that, like, if anyone was going to be possessed, it would be the person who's more obsessive about it. So it would be the main guy. She actually reaches a form of closure with the tapes and is actually kind of like urging him to like be cautious and dabble with it.
Dare you?
So I was thinking, like, the only explanation then is that she's possessed by demons. Then I went and read the Wikipedia summary, and it basically says something like, well, she was possessed by the demons. And I was like, I don't remember them actually saying that, but I guess it fits. So, like, I'm hoping at the end the demons just feel really bad, so they're the ones pushing a wheelchair for her.
Like, again, it's a cliched ending. It would be, the sequel bait anyway, because she is.
Which is ironic, because the sequel is a completely different story, characters, everything.
It's like, but she's had an accident. You know what happens to people with near-death experiences? We have the dead zone, so she's going to turn to Christopher Walken. The ice is going to break, but like, here we go. It's a cliched ending. They all leave, and she sat there. She looks right at the camera, and she has a real devilish grin, implying that they are now moved on to her. Instead of the wind, the happening. Yeah, it's a frustrating movie for me because, like I said, there's something just there's love and attention into the cinematography at times. There's a good idea there. There's a really cool idea about him doing stuff by like helping people and basically become like a superhero.
But kind of like Unbreakable. Cool. Kind of like how Unbreakable's superhero was sort of real world. And it was something you can identify with. Yeah, if they went with that angle a bit more instead of whatever.
It has too many eggs in its basket, and it's trying to juggle too many balls and going.
I love
but it's
eggs.
it's this, but it's also this, and Hollywood execs say that we've got to have a big finale, and there's got to be. It's like there's too much. There's too much, and it gets muddled, and it's a shame because it does have good ideas, and I think the fact that it failed in so many levels for me is why I disliked it so much, because there's something there, and it's like
There's something there.
I did appreciate that they had like I literally I almost stopped the movie and I said to myself, but who was phone? Because they literally had a bit where like he's talking to that woman and he's saying, oh, I've been getting messages for a week, and she's like, no, she died like 2 days ago, and then there's just like a pause and I'm like, but who was phone?
I'm considering doing a video on it, and I was watching things like I'd have that bit looping for like a minute of them just going.
Yeah, just like silence. They just let it hang there, and like I was thinking, like, what are they going to say? And they just say nothing.
Because it's like they're not even like there's no suspenseful music. They're not like any realization. They're just looking at each other like.
Yeah. Well, one could say that Keaton's character was struggling to understand this new paranormal science, and he's like, "Well, that's not in my notes. They're not. They aren't supposed to die later. They die when they're talking to me." And,
strange. I have to say one thing about Michael Keaton. We touched on it.
Okay, good. We're gonna do this. Good,
because I always go to the trivia anyway. So I went to the trivia page. It's only 5 pieces, which is very disappointing. Where is it? One of which,
this is
cool. One of which is on the DVD commentary. Michael Keaton admitted to phoning in some of his scenes.
He apologized for it specifically to the director on the director's commentary.
It's like, yep, I can believe it. It's like, because I was watching him like, because sometimes it's like he gives a damn. There's other times where he is not even trying. There's like one bit where he yells something like, "Did you not have another take?" He's like, "Damn!" Like Michael, cut, do it again, because it's weird. Because there's other moments where he's Michael Keaton. He's great because he's Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton.
Like I think most of the time he did a pretty good job in this movie, but I
think he also benefits from the fact that a lot of the movie is him just kind of like looking vaguely, wistfully off into the distance, slightly confused.
Yeah, it's like Castaway with Tom Hanks, where it's like he has no one to talk to or say anything to, so he just kind of like.
Going back to the cinematography though, that reminds me of something I was going to say earlier when Matt was talking about cinematography. I do think that it could extend further. This is not going to win any awards for cinematography, but I do appreciate the fact that essentially a film about an auditory phenomenon in a very visual medium, they thought of ways to break up the fact that he is literally just you're staring at a tape or a close-up of a video player. Like they did things like dolly ups from like they had an overhead shot through some gratings once while he was listening to stuff. Like I appreciated the fact that they mixed it up a bit.
Yeah, and, there was effort. There's definitely effort.
And the thing I will say is like apparently the sequel is generally better received than the original is, even though this made far more money than the sequel did. And I watched the sequel in a cinema in 2007, and I have zero recollection of it, apart from the fact that I kind of liked Nathan Fillion because this was the first movie I'd ever seen with Nathan Fillion.
Okay,
so
Nathan's great.
But I read the plot synopsis today for the second movie, and I still have no recollection of this movie whatsoever. But the thing I will say is, like, even they knew, because in the sequel, instead of it being about hearing stuff, it's that he can see auras around people. It's a guy. His family dies in a similar tragic fashion. He develops powers in he almost dies. He has an out of body experience, but comes back, and so he can see auras. And which means even the people who made this movie had the foresight to know that they could not get away with a second movie full of close-ups of VHS players. It's like VHS. That flew for the first one. It's not going to work twice.
So they just kind of mixed the Frighteners and the Dead Zone together, basically.
Yeah, basically.
I did like how they did take scenes of the actual mechanisms instead of a VCR as transitions and stuff. If that's what you were talking about,
I love that stuff. Because
that shows some kind of creativity in making transitions. I guess that's what you basically just said. But from my head, it's like I was doing the full Michael Keaton for a bit, and then I was like, "That's it." I understand the point now. Let me illustrate it in layman's terms. When they put the camera inside the VCR, they just shove it straight in there and hit record, and then cut. Perfect. You did great, VCR. Now let's go ahead and throw you in the bin because you're broke now. I do like that. It was pretty cool.
They couldn't make this film now unless they were using like old kit.
Yeah,
like,
it would have to be like The Village, Resident Evil 8, where it's like somewhere out there where only VCRs have made it, technologically speaking.
Yeah, or like the Baker residence. Like they're still using VHS and cassette tape, like digital cassette, like because otherwise it'd just be staring at a computer screen like.
They spend all their money on their fucking gigantic house. They can only
and all the lawnmowers.
Yeah, and
somebody hides one lawnmower and they can't find the goddamn things that's stuffed under the house, so they end up buying another one, and that one gets stuffed in the greenhouse where it doesn't fucking belong. And somebody else buys another lawnmower. Fucking Margaret, goddamn stuffing lawnmowers places.
Shut the hell up, Marguerite.
Horror is very silly at times, isn't it?
Yeah. See, that's why I try not to take it seriously whenever it's like things don't really add up, like this movie where the ending doesn't really add up with the some of its parts, and I just sort of go, yeah, that was fine, whatever. It was still worth watching. I still enjoyed it.
I liked
I'm
parts.
sorry, Lost. I'm
no,
sorry.
It's fine. I really didn't like it, but that's not to mean that it's not got good things in it. You know, that's one thing.
Yeah.
So I always try to. When I was younger, I was like, oh, it's rubbish, but
yeah.
Like now, like even if it's something that I really dislike, I always try and like find things that I do like. It's like I've gone on record a lot of times saying I don't really like The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's really not very good, and I think it's full of itself and it's just too big. It's too long, and I've always said that. But there's still good things in it, and I you know the combat's
the gameplay is pretty solid.
Yeah,
still,
it's just everything else around it. I think just makes for a bad package. But I still try to find things that I like, even in things that I really don't like. Like we watched Army of the Dead, and I fucking hated it. And that is one of the few examples where I can only find a couple of things I like. Dave Bautista was pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it, because I keep people. I mean, I'm going to touch it, but the people keep saying to me like, "Yeah, but it's good dumb fun." Like, it's not. It's boring. And the main antagonist and the main antagonist that we're supposed to like is a rapist, because Zack Snyder confirmed it. Like that whole thing with the zombie lord. Zombie lord.
Oh yeah, that can get in the bin.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, well, he's pretty dark, but like he rapes them. Like, well,
yeah,
fuck that zombie, right? Because the whole movie tries to make you feel bad for them. Also, it rips off Aliens.
Yeah, and a lot of other movies. If you watch the Red Letter Media thing on it, and
that was really
it's a great companion piece whenever you watch a movie to see Red Letter Media's take on it, because they do understand a lot about like cinematography and stuff.
I'm with Jay. Though. Jay seemed to hate it less than Mike did, so
I was Mike.
Well, Jay's more in the good dumb fun camp. I think he's fine with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I just worry sometimes. Like, am I missing something?
I've seen so many zombie films, so many incredibly bad zombie films, that when one comes along that is a 6 out of 10, I'm fine with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it's not. It could be worse. There is, because obviously Night of the Living Dead is public domain, so that's why it's been remade so many times. There's a Welsh remake. And I would just like to, content warning, I would like to read the Wikipedia plot synopsis of the Welsh remake.
Yeah, I'm just going to put one in the chat as well, because I know this is going to be rough.
I know I put Night of the Living Dead, because, like, I don't find the subject matter of what it says funny. It's just the way it's written is very funny. Because someone wrote this. Night of the Living Dead Resurrection is a 2012 film directed by James Plum. It is a Welsh remake of Night of the Living Dead. This is the plot synopsis on Wikipedia. The deceased have risen with the instinct to feed on the living as a family is trapped during a zombie apocalypse. Soldiers put the sole female survivor in a rape van as the story concludes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And again, so me and my partner, I was laughing at it not because the subject, not because rape is funny, because rape is not funny, it's disgusting. But it's just the fact that it's actually the other thing that made me laugh so much is because rape van is in like inverted commas. So it's like, I can imagine someone going rape van.
Right.
It's also
it means only one thing.
Yeah, it's the way it's so matter of fact as well. It's like, okay, here's a plot. That's how it ends, I suppose. Like, I'm not sure who looks at the original Night of the Living Dead and goes, you know what? It's a good movie, but you know what it's missing? It's not a rape van.
Yeah, I do the same
loaded up
thing.
into a rape van at the end, and I think that is what it's missing. I think we need to finance this and remake it and set it in Wales. It's missing that one piece. But
Yeah.
So Army of the Dead is not the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There you go. Finding the joy in the.
I've not even seen this remake, and it's probably one of the worst films ever made.
I don't think anybody needs to be perfectly honest.
Rape Van.
Right.
It's like I will never be able to, even if I ever watch it, it'll always be even if I do, even if I don't, it's always just going to be, oh, that's the Rape Van movie, because it's in the plot synopsis.
Yeah.
On Wikipedia. Like,
yeah.
I want to know who wrote it. Like, it makes me wonder, because then I just sit here wondering, like, who wrote that? Who sat there and was like, I need to. How can I describe this movie? Ah, yes. Like, there we go. Perfect. Zombies, soldiers, Rape Van.
Go to lunch.
Yeah.
Go to lunch, yeah. Everyone meet up at the catering table. We'll talk about the screenplay.
Anyway, that was White Noise.
Yeah, so that was White Noise. No, White Noise was a far better movie, sir.
The one thing I will say about White Noise in conclusion, some interesting facts. It only cost $10 million to make, and basically, the studio were essentially pushing it out to die. They released it the weekend after New Year's Day, which supposedly is kind of like a dead zone. It's supposed to be a dead zone for games, but that's changed recently as well with like Resident Evil titles. But January is supposed to be like a really bad month for people going to cinema because it's cold, because people stay in, because people have spent money at Christmas, etc., etc., etc. Loads of reasons.
Also, horror in January.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently, it did such great numbers. It pulled in 91.2 million, so essentially almost a factor of 10 on its profit. And even though like critically it was not really very well received, with audiences it seemed to be a hit at the time. And I think what you were talking about before, Axe, about the accessibility for people who are perhaps not horror buffs coming into it, I think definitely played a part in that. And apparently, like, now everyone puts horror films and sort of like stuff, like more, not interesting stuff, but that they put stuff in January where they usually would put like just utter dreck. Interesting quote I found. Ever since White Noise was a hit in 2005, that's what started it. If you look back at every first weekend, besides expanding titles, the only new release is usually one crappy horror movie. So yeah.
It's weird, right? So it's an important movie, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's
an important movie
in that regard.
It's a revelatory movie. Also, Red Letter Media does have their little catchphrase, "Fuck you, it's January," when it comes to movies.
Yeah.
Also, I've just reading the legacy on Wikipedia, it says, if a horror film is as poorly received as White Noise could nevertheless make a significant amount of money in January, studios realized a quality film in the genre could do even better. The following year, an elaborate viral marketing campaign gave Paramount's found footage horror film Cloverfield a $40 million opening weekend in January. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I remember the hype for that. That made a lot of money. That only cost $25 million, and it made 172. Yeah, so
can I just have one of those millions, please? Just one. You have 172 of them. I can't have one. That would solve all of my problems.
Give some to me. I watched White Noise. I helped. I went to the cinema to see it. I helped.
I went to the theater to see it too, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, give it to me.
I'll tweet Michael Keaton. Michael, help me. I just watched White Noise again. Give me money.
Dearest Michael, may I have $1 million? I'm certain that you have many more millions than I am asking for, and this seems like a paltry, pocket change amount. Please respond. Yours, Lost in the Warpipe.
I kind of don't blame, because this is with a few years in between. This is between the glory of Batman and before the glory of Birdman, and then his renaissance when it's come, he was in Spider-Man.
He's great in Spider-Man.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a dip in the middle. So I'm not surprised he phoned it in, and he's probably quite happy to forget it exists. So
it's almost like sometimes he was just sat there. Do you think he was wondering it's not the worst film I've ever been in. I mean, I was in Jack Frost. So
yeah,
come on, Michael, you can do it. That's what he's thinking about when he's just looking at the screen. He's like, you can do this, Michael. You were in Jack Frost. You can do this.
That's what that vague kind of disconcerting look is about. He's just remembering the fact that he was in Jack Frost.
So it's like giving himself as
that's great, Michael. I love that expression. What? Sorry, what were we taking?
What?
Yeah.
Jack Frost, no.
He was just like, Jack Frost. Wonderful, Keaton. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. You look so dazed and out of sorts staring at this white noise on the television screen. You're just killing it, buddy. Killing it. And it's like, someone shut that guy up. He's ruining the shot. Oh, fuck. Get him out of here. Sheep's crook just yanks him off the screen.
That would have been a good jump scare, as if he's looking at the screen and Jack Frost just comes out fuck. No.
Yeah.
I want that. I want a horror film about Michael Keaton having to come to terms with all the terrible films he's been in. Because he's such a good actor. Because he's so good. He's been in such dross.
Yeah, he could be. He can be pretty good.
Yeah,
I do think that he was cast a bit old for this role, considering what his wife looked like, though. His wife looked like 20 years younger than him.
I also feel like he's looked the same way for about 15 years. Because when I think of him in Spider-Man Homecoming, he looks a lot like he did in this movie. So
yeah,
he was. You're right. I mean, actually, thinking about it is the wife as well. I noticed very early on, she's just all teeth. She's like, "Hello, honey. I'm just like this all the time."
She was probably cast for her teeth.
Love that
because
Joker.
That's a big smile.
Because she's like, "Hello, honey. I'm pregnant." So she was scary before she died.
It was like a splicer from BioShock. I'm pregnant.
White Noise.
Yeah.
EVP.
So anyway, I guess it's a 2 out of 3 on White Noise, which is fine. At least it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. From what Lost was saying, he was like, "Sucks, I fucking hate it." And I'm like, well, I was thinking,
you're not getting out of this,
man, right?
It's when you said, "I can't follow," David was like, "No, you're watching this, so you're not getting away with it."
I am mad that I don't have the DVD, because there might have been. I would have loved to hear Michael Keaton apologizing to the director over the commentary if it's on there. Is it on there?
Director's full feature-length commentary with director Jeffrey Sachs and Michael Keaton.
Man,
I gotta listen to that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I will say. It is the film that the UK streaming services forgot.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
That's why I had to buy a DVD. I mean, I spent £4 on it. I don't regret it. I will say it's back from the time. Look at that DVD. That's old school, kind of on the disc, right?
Oh yeah.
And also the piece of paper inside. First of all, you get a piece of paper. Second, it's got the picture of the thing, and then it's got scene collection. You remember those?
Oh my god.
Yeah, boy. Old school. I think this DVD was made in 2005.
It's pretty cool.
It's been in cellophane until now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I threw away my copy. I got to a point where I was collecting a bunch of DVDs. I had this moment where I was like, I have a job, I have money. What am I going to do with it? Pay bills, obviously. But also after that, maybe I can collect the movies that I like. Because when I was a kid, I used to watch a whole bunch of movies. I used to loop Hook. I loved Hook. Hook is such a good movie. But also I was 9 years old when I saw it. So bit of rose tinted glasses on that one, but
Sure.
it's still fun. Though those
It is
pirates
still
would
fun.
never lose to Lost Boys.
I watched it for the first time like 2 years ago or something like that, and it is fun even now with no nostalgia attached. Although it does feel like it takes place on like a theme park. Like
Yeah,
the set is a bit fake, but apart from that, it was fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something like when you go back to look at it now, you're like, wow, that is.
The
that
best
is
thing about
settiest
it is
set.
Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins, by the way.
yes, yes.
But,
Oh my god, when he's like, "What would the world be like without Captain Hook?" And then he's like, I think I'll kill myself. And he just gets up, draws a gun, and he's like, "It's me. I'm going to kill myself. I'm gonna commit suicide. I'm gonna commit suicide. Smee, don't you dare try to stop me. Smee, don't you dare try to stop me. Smee, try to stop me. Smee, get up off your ass. Smee, come back here. I'm committing suicide." Fucking save my ass.
I haven't watched Hook in ages, but yeah, Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins. I mean, Bob Hoskins was great in everything.
I mean,
Even when
like,
he hated a film.
when Bob Hoskins was tearing into the food because he's like the poison taste tester for Captain Hook, so it's like put the roll on the piece of paper or on the plate or whatever. Huge bite out of it though, and like when he goes into like the roast, you can see like this 3-inch like arc just cut in there. He filled his mouth with that meat. It's like, oh,
Hey, he got his money's
it
worth.
looks awesome.
He thought
Maybe he
after
was
Super
really
Mario
hungry.
Brothers he'd never work again. So yeah,
I
Yeah.
hated that movie.
Oh,
He really hated it.
I think it's
apparently.
oh, he hated it. Yeah, that's
So
for
do
sure.
I. So do I. It's a good nostalgic, guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah,
Although apparently both himself and John Leguizamo spent most of it drunk.
yeah, they were
Doesn't
by
surprise
their
me.
own admission drinking
Coast-
the whole time.
I think one of them was quoted as saying something like, "Or Super Mario Bros. Co-starring Jack Daniels," or something like that. Something like that. I think it's from that. I might be misremembering the quote. It might be from something else, but I'm sure they said something like that.
Nothing says Nintendo family values like turning up to the Super Mario movie shit-faced.
You're right. But it is 2.5 hours in.
Yeah, we
so...
need to get on to homework, which of course is Matt's choice today.
Well, since
Is this
since I had to watch a film I didn't really
revenge?
like, I was
You
thinking
didn't know beforehand. Stop it.
we will return to the wonderful world of Italian cinema. No, I'm just joking. We're going to watch Lost Boys.
Yes!
Good. I haven't seen Lost Boys. Good. All I've seen of Lost Boys is that gunship video. That's about it.
One thing I will say as well, because I've seen this film, God knows how many times, and I can quote it endlessly. I've watched it a couple of years ago, and I think it still holds up, and it's great. It's really quotable. It's great. It was my favorite film when I was 5 years old. Don't ask, but I saw it.
Wow.
It's my favorite film when I was 5 years old. So the kids are like, my favorite film is this. I really like this. I like Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Everyone else just, oh Jesus Christ! All the teachers looking horrified. I will not say anything to spoil it. However, oiled up sax man, and there's all.
Yes.
Oh, and Kiefer Sutherland is somehow the only man alive who can pull off a blonde mullet and still look really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I will say about it until next
Everything
week.
about this movie is great.
Like,
And I
I
can't
think
wait.
they even referred to Oiled Up Sax Man on the Borderlands 3 debut trailer because Brick is playing sax in a similar fashion. And I only know that from the gunship video.
They got him for the gunship song, and he's also animated in the video because the video's got like various fictional vampires and vampire hunters as well.
Yeah, like Blade is in there and some other things. Yeah.
Oiled up sax man.
I think Light from Death Note is the keyboardist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
animated looking dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for an excuse to rewatch it again, and I thought it'd be a fun one. So
Yeah, I appreciate this.
I was
it's
very
good.
lucky to see it. I think it must have been, was it 87 or 88? Something like that. It must have been the 20th or 21st anniversary that I saw it on the big screen. It was
that at
not
university?
quite COVID. It was just before.
Oh, because I saw it. They actually showed it at we had the little cinema at university on campus.
Oh, right.
They actually showed it there once.
Oh no, I didn't see that. So I mean, like at Cineworld, we're doing some kind of like special event for an anniversary. It must have been the 20th or something like that. And I got to see it on the big screen, and it was amazing.
It's great.
Yeah, everything about it. Like, it's one of those, you know how, and the thing is, I didn't see it as a kid. I saw it when I was 25. No, 24. So like, I will say there is absolutely like, obviously if you love 80s movies, that helps a lot, but all nostalgia removed, it's just a good movie.
I think it's just it's really solid. So I'm just really excited to revisit it.
Yeah,
any excuse.
I mean, there's plenty of comedy in there, but there is like a slight kind of undertone of like, what, sort of horror, but also kind of like menace.
Yeah,
I mean, like, there are real ramifications of what's happening in the plot and stuff.
Yeah, it's
But I don't
pretty
want
hands-on.
We'll have a podcast to talk about it.
Yeah, we totally will.
Yes.
I do want to say real quick, because I think it's funny. You said that Lost is your favorite movie when you were 5, and I'm one of the maybe even the only person in the world who actually waited till he was 18 to watch an R-rated movie. So
wow,
I'm
impressed actually, to be honest.
So it's like, wow, he watched Lost Boys when he was 5. Like, my cousins watched Aliens and Predator when they were like 6 and 7 and 8. They had the toys. It's like the movie is rated for 18-year-olds, but my 9-year-old cousins had the toys and knew the lines and watched the movies often. And it's like, the fuck? You're not supposed to watch that. You're not old enough. But I'm the only one who followed that rule, I guess.
I know the toys were supposed to be because of like an Aliens cartoon or something that didn't happen, but at the same time, like, they clearly like they made toys. They knew that kids watch these movies.
Yeah.
They did it with RoboCop. They did it with Rambo. They did it with the Terminator. They knew. They knew what was going on. And it was
I remember when I did
film
studies at 16, and I had to get my parents to sign a piece of paper that said we allow him to watch over 18 movies in film studies.
Wow. That's fair. It's a good idea to cover themselves. But right, yes. Everyone go and watch
The Lost Boys.
It's great.
Okay, so well, between now and then, we will be doing plenty of streaming things. So please, Axton, you can begin. Plug the things.
Axton 1061, you can see it right there underneath my iFlex shirt. I stream Castlevania on Tuesday. Right now it's Lords of Shadow. Yeah, this Lords of Shadow, Castlevania on Tuesday. Then Thursday it was Graven, but that game is only like 5% finished, and I've beaten what they've given me of it, which was disappointing for like an early access game. Kind of figured it'd be 100% with some bugs, but no, it's 5% with very little bugs. So what are you gonna do? But I am going back to Dragon's Dogma on Thursdays. And then Friday is Castlevania Curse of Darkness. Probably one more stream of that before I go back to Silent Hill 4 speedrunning on Friday, which I will alternate on Friday, Silent Hill 4 speedruns or Devil May Cry 4 speedruns. I'm going to have a second speed game.
Yes.
And I've already done it as a speed game before, so it would be familiar with me. And I just really like playing Lady Trish on Legendary Dark Knight mode. It's a lot of fun. A lot of enemies, a lot of explosions, a lot of action, and it's just great. It's not even about remembering key codes or whatever, or it's just pure combat brawling and RNG with a couple of glitches in there. And on Saturday, I'm pushing with my Mass Effect Legendary Edition Renegade playthrough, which has been a lot of fun, actually. Been really, really good. I thought I'd get bored quick, but it's pretty good. So
nice.
That's where you'll find me. I also have Twitter, YouTube, all the same name.
I will just pop in and say I've been enjoying your Castlevania streams very much, but like 3 weeks in a row now, you've said to me, "Oh, we're gonna finish it today, and then we're gonna move on to Silent Hill 4." And like every time I tune in, it's like, "Oh, it's still playing Castlevania." Not that I like Castlevania, but I'm like, when's Chris gonna get back to it? And it's like,
I thought I was at the last boss, and then it's like, by the way, here's Dracula's castle. Did you forget we have Dracula's castle here? Well, kinda. Is he just going to be in the front door? No, we're going to run you through 3 hours of just hallways that you have to kill every enemy in before you can open the fucking door on the other side. Fine, guess I'll level up these demons on the way.
I hear you have a demon called Garlics. That's very cool.
I do.
Am I next?
Yes. Yeah.
You are now.
My number. Good. Yes. I am Lost in Warpipe, as it says below me. I will be streaming this week. Tomorrow I'm streaming Vermintide 2 with some people. And I've switched my main streaming day from Wednesday to Thursday to help our DM, because we do D&D. We were doing D&D on Thursdays, but now he's gone back to work. He gets back from work on Thursdays. Basic has barely any time to himself before he had to DM a session, and it was kind of killing him a bit. So we've switched Wednesdays and Thursdays around. So Thursday I'll be streaming more of Bloodborne, where hopefully I'll be able to defeat Lady Maria. I might have to do a bit of grinding, but we can do that in the first hour. Move on to the Fishing Hamlet, and then I can die repeatedly at the Orphan of Kos, which would be great fun. Not doing anything Friday or Saturday, and then on Sunday more Vermintide, more Barotrauma, and probably Devour. Also on Friday, I will be uploading part 4 of my Devotion playthrough, which is quite funny because it's just me screaming and panicking for
losing his shit. It's awesome.
for about 30 minutes per part. And hopefully, I will also have another scripted video up either tomorrow or Wednesday, which is going to be my first part looking at all. Like, and when I say all of the Alien games, I mean like all of them. So I'm right at the beginning with Alien, then Aliens, Alien 3, basically playing every game set in the universe because I hate myself. So, there's like a bajillion games, so that's what I've got coming up. So do stay tuned.
You've got Aliens versus Predator Classic. I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely adored that game as a kid.
It's so good, but I've
The
also
arcade is a really good game too.
The arcade is so good, but the problem is I also have the Atari Jaguar version, the Super Nintendo version, and the often forgotten Game Boy version, not the Game Boy Color version.
Did they put one out on mobile?
I don't. No mobile games. Because they're really difficult for me to get as well. Although I did find out that there's a graphic adventure / point and click adventure Aliens game.
A visual novel.
Visual novel, yeah. It's can't remember what it's called.
Like a dating sim.
I think it's called like Aliens the comic book. No, what's it called? I can't remember. It's kind of like a point and click adventure game, sort of. I think it looks like it anyway. Oh, there we go. Aliens, a comic book adventure. Which doesn't really, yeah, it sounds a bit weird, but it looks fun. But yeah, there's loads of games. It does mean I've got to play Colonial Marines, and it also means I have to try and find is it Blackout, the Five Nights at Freddy's clone that they made.
Oh, but you might also get to play that. Apparently, that DS game's really good.
Oh, I have that Infestation.
Yeah, I think Jim Stephanie Sterling was posting about that the other week or something.
Yeah, where is it? Yeah, Aliens Infestation. It's just behind me. It's good. I know it's basically like a Metroidvania game with like multiple Marines that you can play as. It's really good. It's one of like the lesser remembered Aliens games, which is a shame because Jim Stephanie Sterling was right. It's really fucking cool. And maybe by the time I finish the series, that new Fire Team will be out as well, where it's called the new one that's basically Left 4 Dead, but with aliens. It's good. But yeah, there's lots of good games I've got to play in that series.
Gotta take the rough with the smooth, as do I in Demon Souls. I guess I will get on to what I'm doing this week. Yes. Tomorrow I'm playing more Nier. We're getting the end of Ending B because we couldn't quite get there last time. And then we're going to do some like side questing stuff for Ending C. There are 5 endings. Nier is a great game. I enjoyed it a lot. The story is good. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's very rare for me to want to listen to a soundtrack outside of a game. I'm just not a soundtrack person, except for Silent Hills, except for Metal Gear Solid, or sometimes Final Fantasy, but also now Nier. So Castlevania as well. Pretty good. Yeah,
that's right.
So are you saying you're near the ending?
He did the thing. He did the thing.
Yeah, he did it.
Earlier.
Oh, white noise. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, hands up. Wednesday, I'm going to be playing Gregory Horror Show. We started speedrunning it. I'm 4th on the leaderboard, but to be fair, there are 6 people on the leaderboard, including me. So, like, take it with a pinch of salt. But still, 4th is 4th. Trying to grind a PB out on that. The day after, we're doing Silent Hill 4. I've got some new splits, and we're going to try for a PB in that as well. But it's been a PB 2 or 3 weeks in a row now, or this might be the 3rd week, so it's really unlikely I'm going to PB, but who knows, might happen. I've also been writing a guide to speedrunning Silent Hill 4 because someone asked me about it, and then another person asked me about it, and I had a conflict in my head, like, are you qualified to talk about this? And then I thought, as qualified as anybody else. So I wrote the script for that today, recorded it with a towel over my head to try and dampen the echo in here. I really hope people people like listen to it and go, yes, this ADR is really good actually.
You want to get some of that foam, stick
I
it all over
just
your
like
walls.
sat here for an hour with the towel over my head. Came out like melting. Yeah, so I'm trying to put that together, and of course Friday is going to be Demon Souls. Now that I know some things and I'm a bit more experienced, a bit more savvy, I think I'll probably have more of a good time. I'll go back to having a good time with it because I won't feel like I'm floundering, which is what happened last week.
And if you do require any assistance, then you can just ask me.
I'm certainly a lot less adverse to it than I was when I started. Yeah, I will have a think about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the humanity mechanic is tied to it, you know. So if you ever want to become human again, that's the only way is to get help.
I know, but then I found that ring that gives me extra health in soul mode. So now maybe I'm like, I'll just stay as a soul.
Yeah, and you know that wearing a whole lot of armor for no real reason is a bad idea.
Yeah. So Axton basically, like, I was so frustrated with the spider. I was like, I'd just get destroyed immediately. I was even trying to run. Like, I knew that when it sprays oil on the floor, it's going to set it on fire. Right, I learned that the first time. So I was like, okay, you've got to run to the back, I guess. So you run to the back the second you start spraying oil on the floor. Except I could not physically run to the back fast enough. And Axton's like, just strip down to your pants. So I stripped down to my pants. And then, like, suddenly I can roll everywhere like I'm fucking Aladdin. Like, jumping here, there, and everywhere. Like, he spews the oil on the floor. I've got time to like look at my watch and have a cup of tea before I need to run to the back of the arena. It's like such a difference. So
yeah, it's a huge difference.
I'm probably not going to stay in my pants, but
no, you don't
I
have to do that.
understand now specifically the difference between being under 50 as opposed to over 50 and how it creates the fat roll. And so I'll be avoiding that in future.
Yeah, and also you might have noticed that you didn't take a lot more damage naked. Like in your pants, you took like more damage, but you didn't take like a lot more damage. It was like maybe 10% more damage or something. It really was negligible, and the advantage of being able to dodge all the time and all that kind of, and move fast is just better in that regard. But find some clothes for sure. Like when I played through it, I basically made a arcane knight kind of thing. I wanted to use magic on my weapons. I wanted to enchant my stuff, enchant myself. But I didn't want to cast fireballs. Just wanted to be really good with a sword and magically enchant the sword and be better with the sword. So I never had to find like sticky white stuff or whatever. I could just do it myself. And I basically wore like a breastplate, but I kept everything else light. It wouldn't make much of a difference in a boss fight, but it made me look good. That's what mattered to me. I wanted to shine, you know.
That's why I liked the armor. I also liked being a heavy dude. Like that's my fight style, but like I'm learning that maybe we can walk a few steps back from that. Well, okay, we need to go because we're running well over. So thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you, especially if you're in the live chat, but if not and you're listening on demand, thank you also. We will meet back here next time to talk about The Lost Boys. Thank you so much for picking that Lost, because now we get to watch The Lost Boys again. And we'll see you next time. Take care, and bye-bye for now.
Bye,
and then stare. I am the Ghost Rider. I should light this thing on fire at some point.
So it begins.